Now, from the downtown of Northwest Arkansas, in Uptown Rogers, with weather from Bentonville to Fayetteville, Fort Smith, and beyond, here's Oz weather meteorologist, Garrett Lewis.
We've got some nasty storms that are moving in. Right now, they're in Benton County. I'm going to go to radar first for you guys out around Gravette, show you what's going on here. So there's this thunderstorm that's tracking to the east, southeast. Right now, it is not severe. I'll tell you what, though, the wind in this thing is strong on the northwest side of Benton County. That's coming right towards Bella Vista. If you're in Bella Vista, get ready for this storm. I think it probably will be severe. You're looking at 1-inch hail. That's quarter size. That's tracking off towards the east. As far as wind goes, I'm also seeing some wind in this thing. You can see some stronger wind gusts right here in the darker green colors, as well as the bright red colors here. Right now, this storm not spinning. Some rotation from earlier today, though, did cause a brief tornado in southwest Missouri. These storms are going to be affecting all of us here through the evening hours as this front starts to move through. Now, there have been embedded supercells on the front. We've been watching those too. Here's a closer look at this. Let me show you where the storms are located and where they're tracking towards. And then maybe we'll take some shots around Bella Vista, see if we can get a look at this thing as it moves on in. So these storms are moving to the east, southeast with the front. Individual storms are moving north. The whole front sliding down towards the south. Hail is going to be the biggest risk with this. The atmosphere is incredibly unstable, and we'll be looking at that potential for some hail with the strongest of the storms. But this is where we are right now. You can see those thunderstorms that are moving across Bella Vista and northern Benton County. You can probably even hear this stuff really loud out there with some of these storms. Here's a closer look at it near Sulphur Springs and Bella Vista. There's I-49. So right here is the Highlands exit. This is out there by the gun range in the Bella Vista area. If you move to the north out towards Glasgow, you get out towards the country club up there, the northwest part of Bella Vista. There's the bypass though, so it's essentially right after you cross the Arkansas state line. So it's right on the Highlands exit. Moving farther south, here's the Gravette exit near 72. That'll take you to the west near Hiwassee, and that on ramp that's there, the near Hiwassee, where you can take 72 south and get into Centerton. Right now, Centerton, you will get these storms too, but the most intense is crossing over I-49 right there near Sulphur Springs. I had the shot up a second ago of central looking north, but it really doesn't show all that much for us as far as the individual storm structure goes. This is the RDOT camera that's there. That's looking to the north. Time now is 5:55. We are under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. I don't think it's going to last all the way through 10, though. I think some of these storms are going to fizzle. Actually, not fizzle. They're going to move off to the east before then. But the heaviest part of the storms here with this damaging wind are lined up here across southwest Missouri. You can see the hail reports here. This is 2.5-inch hail. That's a big hail. That's out around Nixa, Missouri. 2.25-inch hail out around Ozark, Missouri. That's continuing to track east out towards Branson. The Cassville storm that's there, let's see here. It's got some damaging wind with it, even a little bit of rotation there on the southwest side. So that's something to keep an eye on. But as it stands now, the strongest part of the storm is about to come into Bella Vista, the northern part of Benton County, eventually getting into Rogers as well. The orientation from northeast to southwest puts this stuff closer to Fort Smith later on this evening. Again, this is not going to be an overnight system, despite the fact that it's moving a little slower than I thought it would. It'll move through fairly quick, and it's not a constant rain either. This is the front. So the flip side of this over here near Veneta and Pryor and Grove, hey, this is the all clear. It's a one and done type thing as this line makes its way in. You can see the general track of this storm is tracking right across Bella Vista and then eventually getting into the Bentonville area here very shortly, as well as Rogers up and down I-49 and even Fayetteville. But the general slant of this is going to push it into Benton County before it really gets anywhere else that's out there. It's been a really couple stormy days, hasn't it? The great thing is, as I was looking at some of the extended data, is I think once we get past tonight, we've got several days of calm weather. We're talking about nice weather heading into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. That next storm system's out there somewhere around the Sunday timeframe. So it's not our Sunday night into Monday, early next week. So we do catch a break and we'll be able to dry out after this thing finally takes a hike and moves on out towards the east. Going back to radar, though, I wanted to show you that storm that's coming into Bella Vista. And pretty intense storm here. Not much in the way of rotation, but a little bit of strong gusty winds. The gusty winds are strongest there just to the west of 49, right towards that Highlands exit. We're going to see it on the old Bella Vista 71. Remember how backed up that thing used to be before that bypass got built? Man, that's rough. How about the RDOT cam out there at right on the bypass? That's looking north. Of course, these cameras are for traffic, so they don't have much of the sky. But if you could see the sky, you'd see a big nasty storm out there, as well as some low-hanging clouds. That's a shelf cloud or some scud cloud that's moving in. The radar will do a better job of depicting exactly where this is. Let me start big first. There's a lot of lightning too, so I'm going to animate this for you. This is going from 547 to 558, so about the last 10 minutes or so of data. And you can see the general track, the individual track of the storms is northeast, while the entire line is sliding towards the south and southeast. So, as far as the strongest part of the storm goes, let's drill in here to Bella Vista and look at this. So, we've got that Glasgow Road, Scottsdale Drive. That's going to be on Stony Kirk Drive, Cross, out there towards Perth Drive. Of course, Highlands Boulevard. Y'all are getting that pretty good right now. Evanton Drive, uh, Forest Hills Boulevard, Lancashire Boulevard. Moving to the north, this is up around Ardwell. Some other streets affected here. Looks like it's going to be Parseg. Probably not saying that right. And you've got some more near Iran, Headlaw Hills, Allison Drive, Fry Lane, Glean Drive, and then back over towards Luncardy Lane. This part of Bella Vista, the west northwest part, is getting the heaviest part of this storm, where the rain is just torrential and the winds are strong. It is important to note, though, at this point in time, there is no warning that is in effect for Benton County. I just wanted to jump on and let you guys know what's going on right now, because the atmosphere is very unstable, and I do think some warnings will be possible this evening as these storms make their way in. Actually, you know what? We're getting some of that shelf cloud on that camera right now. Let me see if I can go back to it real quick. Pull that up for you. Look towards the top. So that's that low-hanging shelf cloud. That's the cool air pushing out. That's not a wall cloud. So that's good news, right? This is located right there where you jump on the bypass. So as far as radar would go, that camera's located right here on North Walton, looking west. So if you were to head up, if you kept driving north, let's see here, kept driving north in this area here in the middle of the screen, you would eventually make your way up towards the old 71 and the way you used to come up and down through Bella Vista. This camera should do a good job, though, of actually showing what's happening out there once it finally moves through. I also think we're getting that heavy rain in Centerton shortly, as well as Bentonville and Little Flock. Rogers, you're going to get this too as the storm system makes its way in. Let's look at wind speeds again. Let's find out what's going on here. Showing the strongest gusty winds around Sulphur Springs. Again, that's up there around the Highlands still. Some strong winds east of 59, west side of the bypass, moving towards northern Bella Vista. We also have a lot of lightning strikes there too. That's the general path of that storm. You can see where it's heaviest here as it starts to move in. I may take a look at the central camera that's in Bentonville. I think that one looks north. Let's see if we can pull that one up here. There you go. Yeah, can't see a whole lot, can you? That's from Central looking north. That's that sharp exit there on the right that does a little loop and takes you back around to 72, where you'd be heading west, coming down Central, or you could go east and then head out towards P Ridge. Should see some gusty winds with this as it makes its way in. That's where that storm is currently located. Back to radar here. Weather Service doesn't have a warning on this one. They do have warnings just across the state line in Missouri. Cassville's under a warning. Seligman, you guys are going to get these storms too. It won't be quite as strong as the one to the south, though. The one that's moving through Bella Vista that's about to come into Pea Ridge is probably the one to watch the closest. Heavier scans putting this, the last scan's putting this here on the west side of Centerton. So this is right on 102, near where the curve is and that big gravel pit, big pit. Um, Looking to the north, there's Bliss Street in Centerton, Seba Road, Gamble Road. Here's where 72 curves back around. This is Main Street in Centerton. Here's Town View Road. Here's Northwest Elm Tree. Here's where 2nd Street kind of comes out to 72 off Walton, over there by where the Taco Bell is. Here's Tater Black running north-south. So if I zoom out, you can kind of get an idea where it is in relation to Tater Black Road. That's just to the west-northwest. You guys can probably see this thing coming in pretty good. It's also coming into Siloam Springs too, it looks like. Right now, this is very heavy rainfall with gusty winds. There are no tornado warnings on this. There's not, right now at least, a whole lot in the way of wind or hail, which is good considering how unstable the atmosphere is. But those shelf clouds are making their way in. You can see it out there from Little Flock at the lowering that's coming in. Back over here to radar. Right now, this is mostly affecting Benton County, Centerton, Bentonville, and Rogers, moving towards the east. Eventually, it gets into Pea Ridge, but first up, it's going to be moving through Centerton and Bentonville. Looks like it's over that exit now near Hiwassee. That's right there where you can get on 72 and head south, kind of just to the east of Collar Lane, although Collar Lane's getting it really hard right now as well. Next few scans are going to put this thing out there towards, Melrose Place, as well as Walters Road and Arkansas Black, Portland Street, uh, Burn Court, McIntosh Way, Fairtooth Street. Who named these? Let's see, Whitefish Street and Bitterroot. Obviously, someone named them that was having a great time, at least at the time. Um, Farther to the south is along Sundance, Jazz Avenue, Pink Lady Place, Cameo Lane. Here's Winesap right here. So those showers and storms will be starting to pick up on Winesap just to the west of 72 as it makes its way in. New scan. Heavy is still over Hiwassee. Very heavy rainfall moving in. Looks like we're starting to get it in Siloam Springs. We might go over to Analyst real quick. And why don't we go ahead and take a look at look for any pockets of rotation here. So we'll do this. Zoom on out. So here we are. Same storm, just a different radar display. Got some strong winds here. That's interesting. Right here, and then around here. And some strong winds out around Colcord too. That's northwest of Siloam Springs. Stuff in Bella Vista has some gusty winds in it. You can see it here right on around 71 now. So that's right on 71, about to cross over into Missouri up towards Jane and Pineville. Yeah, but I don't see any rotation at the moment. Some gustier winds on the west side of Bentonville. This is going to be moving through pretty quick. So I think probably in the next hour, Bentonville's not going to have anything else that's out there as the storm system just blows through. Low clouds now moving in out towards 14th Street. You can see some of the cloud deck that's moving in. That's looking to the south too. So if we were to look to the north, we'd actually see quite a bit more in the way of shelf clouds moving in. Shelf clouds, again, there's just that cool outflow that's pushing out of the thunderstorm. It doesn't really have much. It looks like a wall cloud. It's just not. Let's go back over to radar. See if we can find the maximum estimated hail size on this. See what I mean? So far, so good with the hail. Considering how unstable the atmosphere is, y'all, this is pretty good. We'll see if this plays out. You probably walked outside today. Well, if you're like me, you walked outside and you sneezed about 50 times if you have grass allergies. My goodness gracious. Somebody should have been taking a Allegra and Flonase about a week ago. But The south winds were really strong today. That's what stirred up the allergies and probably why you may have some allergies too. Tree pollen's on the way down, but grass pollen's on the way up. The south wind kind of felt severe weather-ish, didn't it? Sticky out there with that low cloud cover. Let's look back in here to Bentonville and see what's going on. I'm curious what's up in this area here. That actually may be close to where that bypass is. Let me go back to this radar source. Let's look at this thing. What I'm looking at is that little kink right there on the northwest side of Bentonville. It's actually right where that camera is. Should have a good look at it. Let's see. Yeah, it's raining out there where that bypass is. There you go. Looking west. Actually says it's looking north. It's more west northwest towards that exit. Doesn't really show us a whole lot though, does it? Not compared to the intensity of the storm that's there. And out towards Slaughter Pen on the RDOT cam. Out to the storm. Look how green everything is. Isn't it nice to have all this rainfall? It's too bad we can't box some of this up for July, though. It'd be amazing. Keep that stuff going. Typically, we dry out around July and August and just don't get a whole lot then. Back on the 14th Street camera. How about looking to the south from 8th Street? We don't see a whole lot. From Walton Boulevard looking south, we aren't storming here yet. We will be though. So that's the south look. Traffic's cleared up a little bit from earlier today. You got people on the right side. No one knows how to merge around here, but that usually slows things down as they jump on 49 and head southbound. Skies are definitely darkening up. You can see the trees waving a little bit on the left. It's a pretty active day of weather, and it's been an active spring so far. This year is actually second on record. If you follow me on Facebook, I mentioned that earlier, but for tornadoes, it's the most recorded on record. Most recorded was like over 700 back in 2011 for the month of April. For the month of April this year, it was up over 400. It's the second most on record. As we head into May, we've already had a couple of outbreaks in Oklahoma and Kansas. This one is more of a hail wind thing. The wind shear isn't as it's just not as robust for tornadoes, which is good. I mean, let's take the rainfall without getting some of the nasty storms and hail and all the rest that's out there. Some of these tornadoes this year have been pretty intense. Just taking a look around, trying to figure out what's going on here, and go back and check for some rotation again. See if we've got anything cooking. Take you down a little lower here. Broad area of rotation there. Doesn't look very strong at all. And you have some gusty winds that are out here too. Hail reports in northeast Oklahoma weren't that big. I mean, they were less than quarter size, nickel-ish maybe, better than nickel back. North of Heifel, there's a little pocket of gusty winds there. So far, so good on this. I don't see anything that really indicates to me that we're looking at strong rotation within the storm. So we gotta love that. Anytime you can get a good rain without getting a tornado, it's a good day for the most part, right? Looking at some other cameras here, and then we'll take a look at where some of the hail might be. This is out around Puppy Creek, looking northbound on 49 with the RDOT cam. And so the storm's actually there on the left side. So that 612 interchange is on the far left side of the green road. Yeah, either one. Um, and right now, looks pretty good. Doesn't look that bad with this storm. These storms are coming all into Bentonville, though. So heads up in Bentonville, you guys are going to be getting it. We're getting it already here in Centerton. It's finally starting to move in. Out around Battlefield, if you look to the north, you can see these clouds starting to thicken up. It's getting darker. Trees really waving around a lot there. There's a full screen of it. See some of those lowerings there at the top of the screen. Again, as it stands right now, these storms are not severe that are moving through. The severe storms are currently just to our north in Cassville, but I do think that severe weather could be a possibility with really any of this stuff that's moving in. Let me go back to analyst here. So if I zoom out, this is the severe weather right at the moment. Some pretty heavy stuff out around Cassville, where Mom is. Trout fishing today. Not making that one up. Let's see here. Yeah, I got something there too. Some brief gusty winds, but nothing that really looks sustained, at least for the time being. Keep an eye on this thing as it moves through. It's going to be interesting to see this thing come right down 102 and into Centerton here shortly. Your traffic's going to get a lot slower. Can it get slower on Walton and 102? I don't think so. Then look to the south from 14th Street, looking southbound. So you got the Sam's Club there on the left side of the screen. You have the McDonald's there on the right. Sonic over there. Butter Biscuit. Low cloud, shelf cloud moving in. We'll lose some street level tracking up next. You can see the dark clouds coming in over New Hope now. So these are moving in from the west. Mercy's on the left side. The amp would be at the right. You can kind of see the net from Top Golf out there. Not much movement in the trees just yet with that storm. Let's go over to some street level mapping here and let's see where the strongest part of the storm is. So let's animate it first for about the last 10 minutes. So here's what's been going on. Track east northeast. You are seeing some redevelopment back to the west southwest. These storms eventually, in about 2-3 hours, will be the ones that move through Fort Smith. That tornado watch goes till 10 o'clock. I think 10 o'clock might be a stretch as far as timeline goes. Let me check this one's interesting here. This little guy. You keep an eye on that one. This is north of Tahlequah. There's a lot of lightning with this one. You can also see those reds and greens. It's not anything I'd be too concerned with right now. But given how unstable the atmosphere is, it's certainly a possibility. We see something develop out of this. Taking you back into Centerton now. Strong winds. Let's see where the heaviest rain is. The heaviest rain is right over Centerton now on the northwest side of town. Bliss Street running north up Main Street, up 72. Gamble Road, and then just to the west, Canyon Maple, Silver Maple, Red Maple, Sycamore Maple. Somebody loved maples. You know what? I bet they love maple syrup too. That's northwest of Centerton, but the white areas are really where it's heaviest. That's not on Maple Street. That's on 72 West. That's on Bullock Road. So you got it on Bullock Road that runs kind of back down to the southwest and then gets over to Hollis Road. Real heavy in that area. But coming into Bentonville, though, thankfully not spinning and not spitting out any big hail. Right now, our severe storms are currently in southwest Missouri. These severe storms are around Cassville. Those are tracking east. You got some really heavy stuff right there, just north of Shell Knob and east of Hill City. So we move back to the south. Got those storms coming into Centerton. That new scan puts this rainfall right over Walton on the north side of Bentonville now. There's another loop of it. Deviant motion would be to the right turn or almost a southeast jog. If that happens, it's going to ingest more inflow from those south winds. So I think you could be looking at a little bit of an uptick in tornado potential. It's not what I'm seeing. That's one thing I'm looking for, though. And check back on analyst. See if we find any rotation in this just net right now. It's another wide view. And here it is in motion. See how fast it's running to the east southeast. It's a fast moving front. The wind shear is a lot better in Missouri, as well as east central and east Arkansas. Heavy rain though coming down here in Benton County. Storm relative. Woo! Yeah, we got some big wind coming in. All right, so this is quite a bit stronger. If I'm back up here, you can see these green colors get darker as this comes into Centerton. So I think this is probably strong enough now as it's moving towards Bentonville that the Weather Service is considering some kind of warning on this thing. We'll see. But I do think that this could produce damage at this point. Really, it's the Centerton area more so than anywhere else at the moment. And then it gets into Bentonville. I can see the shelf all over the place here. You can see Central. I'm trying to show you guys a camera shot that actually will tell the story here. This is south of J Street. Hey, those cars have their hazard lights on. Uh-oh. That probably means as they're moving through that they've got a lot of heavy rain. Someone's headlights just turned on, so the heaviest maybe just north of this camera shot that's coming in. Let's see. Curious what this central cam looks like here in a second. Let's check it out. It is really coming down. Good grief. And look at the wind too. This is right there on North Walton and the Bella Vista bypass. Going straight, you would be on the bypass. If you turn to the right, you would be on 71. That would take you up the old way. Wind really moving things here. Showing that pocket of wind strongest over Centerton. Let's do some street level mapping of this. So we're going to zoom into Centerton. All right, a little bit of a bow too. Can you see it? So this is going to be coming into the west side of Bentonville. Go over to the wind speeds here first. Not that one, Lewis. Here we go. So this is coming down Southwest 2nd over Walton. This is coming right towards the square in Bentonville. So you guys that live in and around the square, get ready for some big wind and rain. A whole mess of lightning too with this stuff. Tracking it, it looks like this. The movement is going to be west to east. Don't see much hail in this right now. Sky's definitely darkening up though. Quick shot out over Embassy looking north. So that's to the left is where that storm is of this shot. Heavy traffic out there this evening, southbound. This is near the Pinnacle exit, Pinnacle Parkway on the right. So you got the Home Depot there. It's out of the shot, but on the far, far, far right is Mercy Hospital. Some gusty winds with that. Just looking at how this has been trending. A couple of anomalous scans there. I'm also seeing this stuff out here. This is indicative of some gusty, very strong winds here. Also got some over Salem Springs too. Just hasn't been sustained. It's not like it can't keep going. It has been great. We need a little bit of a break from all this nasty weather we've been getting. Boy, that's heavy though. Right there over 2nd Street and Elm Tree. Southwest 4th. 72 running out towards Kohler Park. Got some big wind and rain out there around Kohler right now. Northwest 3rd. It takes you out there over to Northwest O Street. Northwest 3rd. And 2nd is where the strongest is. And we got a warning here. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning now in effect. It's for Salem Springs, and it's for that storm that we saw just a moment ago that's located here just southwest of Concord. Weather Service issued this based on hail. They're thinking it's going to be 1.25 inches. So $half size hail possible with this one. Warning's going to go for 39 minutes. It does include Salem Springs. It's tracking northeast. It should be in there soon. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the hail, huh? We've got a couple different products we can use to find the hail. Right there it is. So here's another big shot of what's going on. They've issued this based on hail. You can see a lot of lightning. There's not as much lightning in that storm over Bentonville, but you guys, there's some hail coming out over Northwest 12th and 3rd on North Walton, coming over towards Tiger. So the Red Barn would be up in this area here. There's Bella Vista Road, takes you out there towards Crystal Bridges. Crystal Bridges is going to get hit with this too. Again, this is a look at the hail in the storm. Heavier storms down here. There's a lot of $half size hail coming out of that thing. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning that's now in effect for Siloam Springs, um, for how long did I say? About another 38 minutes on that storm. Let's just make our way on out and see what it looks like out there, looking west from the Illinois River. And you can kind of see in the distance some of those lowerings that are out there. Maybe full screen looks better, not so much, but it's on the right side of the screen there. You can see the Illinois River at the bottom. Boy, that thing's getting full, huh? Just with all the development going on around here, how could it not be full? I'm most concerned too, not only with the hail core, which is big, but also with this little thing down here. I think that one could be something that gives us the possibility of you know, a little bit of weak rotation in the storm. Definitely think it's something to keep a watchful eye on as it moves through. I'm going to check for rotation right now, actually. Yeah, there's a little bit there, guys. It's right here. It's not very strong, but given how unstable the atmosphere is and how there's nothing really south of it, that's what's interesting too with these storms is um, if they can access, if they have complete access to the south air behind it, they can really go bananas quick. If there's a storm that's south of it, if there's like a storm down here around Tahlequah, on the southeast side, then it's going to interfere with the updraft and the inflow. So you tend to have weaker storms that are there. I'm going to take you to Siloam Springs looking west off 412. This camera shot shows the casino there. It looks like it's already rained, but it's about to get a whole heck of a lot heavier. And I'll tell you what, too, the way this is tracking, should this thing start spinning, let's see, general track would be somewhere through here. I mean, it's kind of, well, here you go. You can't even see it. It'd be somewhere through there. It kind of follows the polygon. It's definitely going to be one to watch. It's a lot stronger. It also looks like right on 49 now, coming up towards Little Flock. Let's see here. It's right on Tiger Boulevard, and I know there's a camera there, so I'm curious if we can see some hail. Let's just find out here what we got. And I know to go to Little Flock Cam first. The guy on the right's going too fast. Can't really see much, huh? Of course, this is looking to the south. Northeast part of Bentonville coming up on Northeast J Street. So here's Tiger Boulevard. There's the boss's house up there. And then you got Apple Spur, Bentonville, Little Flock, Pleasant Hill. Looking at the slaughter pin cam, it doesn't show anything. Bella Vista one, not so much. I'm gonna find Tiger. There's south of J Street. Boy, traffic's moving slow here. Don't see any hail though. At least not right now. Seems to be going a lot faster northbound. You know what's happening is they're driving north and they're going into the storm. Oh, what's going on? And then they hit it. People coming southbound though have already gone through it, so they're moving a lot slower. I don't see any hail ping ponging around there though. Although I'm sure there is some. Go back to this. Looks like it's just over 49 now, so it just passed over 49. Here's Tiger Boulevard. Holy cow. Not a Boy, those people can't even drive. Don't you hate that when you're driving? You can't see anything. The worst, though, is when you're driving and you get caught in this hail junk. It is so terrifying to be in a car with a hailstorm. I hate it. I'd much rather be in a house with a weak tornado overhead than a car in a hailstone. I probably shouldn't say that, but when you're in a car with a hailstone, it's loud. When you're in a house with hailstones bouncing all over the place, it's loud. Um, but you can see how difficult it is to drive for these folks here. You got some winds moving through. This is Tiger Boulevard here. So the new LDS church is there on the far left side. Wait, we're looking south. It would be on the far right side, and that's southbound camera according to RDOT. Core of that is moved over Little Flock. Here's East Central running out of 72. Rice Coffee Road up here where they had format the first year. Sugar Creek, I think, runs through here. Boy, I bet that thing's filling up pretty quick. What else we got here? Croft Haven Drive, Northeast Kenton. Heads up in Little Flock, guys, along Huron Cove. Like that last scan, just put a big one in there. And this is coming in towards Little Flock, Avoca. Trying to think, see if this is going to get right into Pea Ridge like the last one did. I think it is. Here's Leetown, Brightwater, Hilltop, Garfield, Walnut Hill. I don't know why Pea Ridge isn't populating on here. It's right there in the middle. No, but oh, there it is. The Blackjack Corner is. Yeah, Pea Ridge along Hazelton Road, Slack Street. I always called it Leetown Road, but it's right here. And you got Guthrie Road running north-south. This is right where that turn is, where some of the new developments are going in. Some streets affected by this. These are out there along Hall Lane. Here's South Curtis Avenue. So this is over. That's the Walmart. That's where they've got that other drone thing that delivers rotisserie chickens by air. I haven't had that happen yet, but I mean, what a thought, huh? Here's Cherry Street, Spruce Street, Hickory, Fitwood. Guess that's better than the alternative. Oakley Street, Ash Street. Someone liked trees here. Ross Salvage Road. Here's Robbins Street, Halen Drive. Some of that's coming in towards Gaines Street, and probably some houses that haven't been built yet. That new apartment complex in Pea Ridge is right here. It's going to go just to the south of y'all. Looks like. Sorry, the heaviest is going to go south of y'all. Hey, things started moving again on the interstate. Look at all these cars. Everybody that stopped, that southbound traffic. Start back up. And you saw it a moment ago just how full that thing was with rain. It looks a lot better now. Still raining, but it's not quite as heavy. That heavy stuff is the stuff that you're seeing right now out there over Little Flock. And that's moving up towards let me go just south of Pea Ridge, out towards more towards Avoca and out there around Garfield, where unfortunately, we had those two tornadoes this year in Garfield. We've also got some storms that are moving out over Rogers right now. Let's look from why don't we look from Walton southbound towards Uptown. Doesn't look that bad, does it? Some heavy rain, no big deal. That heavy stuff is farther to the north. There's not even a whole lot of lightning either in the Rogers area. Still a little bit concerned about this one though. Watching the southwest side of this thing. Hasn't tightened up. So here's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to a different radar source here. Let's go back to reflectivity. You can see that strong storm that's over Avoca. This polygon is aimed towards Rogers, Elm Springs, and Centerton, though, and that's why I want to kind of keep a watchful eye on that southwest corner, because if the thing does start spitting out a tornado, it's going to follow that trend line to the east-northeast. Let's look at this again. It's taking more of a right turn. I think it would actually be between Fayetteville and Rogers if it did anything. Zooming back out. Farther to the south, there's nothing going on in Fort Smith. Hot, isn't it? But you can see some storms starting to come to life out there around McAllister. These are the storms that eventually get into Fort Smith. Those are still quite a ways out, too. Those are, what, 71 miles to the southwest? So it's going to take some time for those things start to get in. That big heavy storm is over Avoca. Let's go to a different radar source now. And let me check out what's going on here. And it looks like more of a gusty wind situation going on here from Pea Ridge south through Avoca and the east side of Rogers. Let's see here. All right, so let's go back to this storm that we were looking at. Trying to think. Right now, I've got the Fort Smith Doppler loaded. I'm going to load Tulsa's dual pole. So take a second here. I think we're going to get a better shot of the storm. It's closer to the radar, and when it's closer, because the Earth is round. Unless you ask some people think it's flat. I'm not sure what they were doing during the solar eclipse. But because it's round, the radar beam goes up, so you get more height as you go through distance. And so we're actually sampling a higher part of the storm from Fort Smith than we are from Tulsa. So here we are from Tulsa, looking at the same storm west of Siloam Springs near coming into Watts. That's storm relative. So the part that we've been watching is this little hook right in here, right? So I'm gonna put a little marker there, a little red dot. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. Actually, you know what? Let's try this. Let's go to two panels. Um, so let's load velocity on the right side, and then we've got reflectivity on the left. You can probably see that little red dot a little better there. So now I'm going to tilt the radar up. By the way, I'm sampling the storm here at 2,800 feet. As I move the radar higher, I'm looking for any kind of rotation here. So now I'm at about 1 degree tilt, 1.3, 1.8, 2.4. I mean, there may be some rotation in that. It doesn't look particularly strong right now. I'm gonna go over to hail real quick. You got some big hail. You got 2-inch hail coming in, almost 3-inch hail, larger than golf ball size though. That's coming into Siloam Springs. Big heads up in Siloam. Let's go back to one panel. What we may do, I wonder if we can see this hail in 3D. Let's try this. This will either work or I'll break it. Um, you can't see it on the shot. So I broke it. But there's hail that's lofted. That's at the top of the screen there. Um, that gives you a better idea of what's happening. Let me see. Let me see here for just one sec. Let me go to the volume scan. Let's see if this loads. There you go. So the hail is lofted at the top of the storm up here, and it's tracking northeastward. Let's see here. Look at those storm tops, guys. This stuff's spiking over 50,000 feet in the atmosphere. Good night. Back over to analyst now. You have some of that heavy rain now swinging through Rogers with maybe 1-inch hail. I'm gonna take a wide view here and see if we can get a good look at this whole thing. Here we are. We'll zoom on in here. Talked about how high these storms were. There's that leading edge. Shoot, the leading edge is over Fayetteville already. If you go up, you probably see that line of clouds. And then back to the south, there's an updraft. You got a major updraft there going straight up. This is that storm's about to cross the state line, too. That's hail. Hail gets stuck up in the updraft. Keeps cycling, and then you end up with those very large hailstones that come out of it. Storm relative, real quick. I'm just taking a peek at some of this for a second. Normalized rotation. Base reflectivity. All right, we'll go back to radar now. Let's see this thing. Let's check for rotation on this one first. Oops, got to change this. There's something trying right here. It's not very strong though. Heavy rain now over Rogers. Looking southbound, you can see Hunt Towers on the right, Embassy, Cross Church on the far right. The amp would be straight ahead with those heavy showers moving in. This is what it looks like on radar. Yeah, I'm showing the heaviest there. I mean, it's coming down on Pauline Whitaker and Pleasant Grove out towards Wallace. But man, it's really coming down out there toward downtown Rogers. Here's Prairie Creek Drive. Here's West Olive. So this stuff just moved over the high school, moving towards downtown Rogers over by the rail yard. There's Poplar Street, Oak Street. Here's South First, Locust Street. Yeah, that new scan really dumped it on us, didn't it? This is a strong storm, guys. Cedar Street, Maple Street. Probably should be a warning on this one with it the way it's bowing out here as it moves towards Eureka Springs. I think you're going to have some wind damage potential with this out in Garfield and also Rogers as it moves towards Beaver Lake. And there it went. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Benton County until 7:15. So there's a new one. The Weather Service saw the same thing and they're thinking, hey, we better put a warning on this sucker here. So there is wind damage potential with this. Very heavy rain along Brooks Drive, Old Prairie Creek Road, Grambling Road. This is generally north of Prairie Creek Drive, where it's heaviest. It's still raining pretty good all the way out towards Beaver Shores. Downtown Rogers has really got it going on too, though. Going over to the wind speeds again here. Oh, there's a pocket of really strong wind on the leading edge coming up towards Lost Bridge Village. Um, that's along Cedar Rock Road. Heads up for you guys there for that particular storm. Weather Service issued this based on quarter size hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, spires in 37 minutes. So not quite as borderline severe. Severe is quarter size hail and winds to 60. Here's a storm coming into Siloam Springs. This one's still got my feelers up on it. How long does this warning go? 22 minutes. This one's going to get reissued. I'm going to loop this. I'm watching to see if this little guy here starts making a bit of a right turn. As long as it moves northeast, it's okay. If this little hook, though, that's right in here, a little bit of weak spinning aloft, if it starts moving east, then you're going to ingest more of those south winds. And those south winds are going to make this thing turn faster. You guys see what I'm getting at here? And when that happens, you can also get tornado genesis a lot easier. Especially on that southwest side. Stop this. Look at this area right here. We'll go back to Siloam Springs camera because it looks like it's raining cats and dogs. Yeah, there's nothing there though. At least nothing there on the lowest tilt. And this is using are we on? No, we're actually on it. The Fort Smith radar on this source. Why don't we change sources here? Not that's Tulsa Airport. Check INX. There you go. So let's look at it from here. I'm curious to see what velocity looks like on this. Not much there. It's not bad. Right in here. Hail's probably still a bigger issue with this thing. Yeah, that hail's huge. That's probably at least golf ball size. Coming into Siloam Springs. So heads up for you guys. Why don't we take a peek what's going on in Siloam Springs, shall we? Let's look west first from the Illinois River. Excuse me. Yeah, that doesn't really show us much of anything, does it? Let's look at the one that's right over Siloam. This will be a fun one. Yeah, it's coming down. Big time there in Siloam Springs. That's looking west. I do think that hail makes it into Siloam Springs, so yikes. Heads up. You can get the car in the garage. Clean the garage. You do spring cleaning yet? Hope so. A lot going on there with that thing moving in. Let's see farther down to the south. Hey, got some other storms developing now. Let's see what this looks like. We'll have to come back in and check on our friends in Siloam here soon. Let's see. Yeah, this stuff popping up is interesting, huh? These could be supercells. That one actually will probably pass to our south. It's just south of Mina. It might get into Hot Springs though. Oh, if you look real close, can you guys see the boundaries? This is the coolest thing. You've got, see this one right here? Another one right there. As they zip up, you're getting these storms firing around Muskogee. Right there. See them? Isn't that cool? It's the cold front that's moving in. Which is great. We could use some cool air and some stable air, huh? I think this is still the main storm to watch, though. Hail Siloam Springs. General track would put this just north, well, pretty close to Fayetteville. Doesn't how it starts, whether it's going to bend to the right or not. Looking out towards Garland. That's looking northbound towards the Fulbright Expressway. University of Arkansas would be behind me. Washington Regional Medical Center would be in front of me to the right. You want to see what Zach Hall's doing? Let's see if I can get him pulled up real quick. Hey Zach, doing some live streaming, so I've got you up. What you up to?
Hey man, hey, I was just gonna fill in, give an update real quick. I'm currently right off of 412 here in Springdale, looking off to my southwest at the severe thunderstorm warning storm. Pretty neat view. Here at my location, I'm actually getting a little bit more outflow than anything, and just monitoring the storm as it moves off to the northeast. I feel like this one has the chance to cause some problems, I guess, in the short term.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Were you up there around North Benton County? I got your shot up, by the way, so they can see him. Boy, the low clouds look nasty. Anything
Yeah,
going? Yeah, it looks like. I mean, it feels and looks like a May severe weather day. What about hail or anything? I haven't seen a whole lot with. Looked like some small hail moved over Centerton and maybe even out there over Bella Vista. What have you seen as you've been out there? Where have you been?
yeah. So we actually started the day. I'm here with my buddy James. We went up to Southwest Missouri and gave those storms an opportunity first. And really, honestly, so far things have been a little messy,
Mhm.
which promotes a lower tornado and a lower hail threat. But it seems like those storms really got their act together over Bentonville and
Yeah.
Centerton in that area. I have not encountered any large hail yet, but I'm sure that will probably change over time, especially if this is able to remain more isolated. So,
Yeah, and it looks like West Siloam is going to get pounded by some hail. Just looking at radar. What are you thinking about tornadoes? You think that you watching that one there south of Siloam? You said you're in Springdale, right?
yeah, so I'm in Springdale, right off 412, looking
Okay.
west of the storm headed up. I mean, I think that if we can get a little bit more southerly or southeasterly winds at the surface, we'll have an opportunity. As long as we have these southwesterly winds, feel free to agree or disagree. I just feel like the tornado threat isn't as high. That can change quick. So,
Yeah, no doubt about that. In fact, I had mentioned that earlier, just about these south winds that are out there really help turn those low levels. And without the south winds, you don't really get as much tornado threat. But that's why I think the tornado threat's a little lower. But the radar presentation on that storm's pretty good, though. I mean, there's a nice little hook on it down there.
I think that this one can stay somewhat isolated.
Hmm.
There's an opportunity for it to produce large to really large hail, but if it doesn't stay isolated, we'll probably run into more smaller hail and gusty winds at any.
Yeah. No, right on, man. Well, I appreciate you checking in. I've got your image up here. That's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall. Zach, stay safe out there. Maybe we'll check in again with you as this thing moves through.
I'll be out all night, so this fall.
All right, sounds good. Take care, Zach.
Yeah.
All right, bye. That's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall. He drives more than anybody. I was talking to him the other day about he tracks storms not only in Arkansas, but he's also tracking them out across Kansas, Oklahoma. Shoot, I bet he's been up to the Dakotas, Texas, you name it. His YouTube channel, which is this is the Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall's YouTube channel. Um, he broadcasts Arkansas on this one. He's also got another one where he's going to broadcast everything else. So where he's storm chasing in Texas and all that stuff. That warning is going to expire in 15 minutes. I think the Weather Service will reissue it. I just checked the. Sometimes they tag these things tornado possible. They put that stuff here at the bottom. They didn't tag this tornado possible. Um, so we'll see how this goes. It's just like Zach said. I'm going to load. Let me see if I can load the METARs. Um, maybe we can get an idea of wind speed, direction. Let's look at wind speed and direction here, and see what's taking place. Let me back this down. Yeah, see the south winds here? It's more of a south wind. In Fayetteville, winds are straight up due south, dew point 70. Man, it's juicy out there with the air. Visibility 6 miles, temperature's 83. Siloam Spring and cold front's already moved through. We've got north winds. We're down to 72. Dew point's fallen to 64. So the front's right there. Um, This is more of a southwest wind in Springdale. Just like Zach and I had mentioned, a southwest wind is more of a hail and more of a damaging wind threat than a tornado threat. Rogers wind speeds are down to 64. Hasn't kicked around here on the obs. It's showing southeast winds. That's not the case. North winds are coming in with those cool temperatures in tow right behind it. Fort Smith is also looking at a southwest wind. Digler has a southwest wind. I don't see much southeasterly winds. I do around Russellville though, and Clinton, Southwest in Little Rock. So as these things go east, they probably do ramp up a little bit as far as the tornado threat goes. These supercells will be interesting too. Let's see what they do. Look behind it, Muskogee. You got what? What are we doing with winds? West winds at 23. Wow, that's right behind the front. It says 85. It's not 85. It's cooler than that. Unless the dry line hasn't moved through. Let's loop it. It has. It hasn't updated. You got the dry line and the front merging there. So yeah, the front's already through Muskogee. But these little hinks down here, down to the south, these things are going to play around out towards Fort Smith when they start getting in. There's another look at it. Still southwest winds. I'm at Tulsa's radar here. There is a little pocket of rotation southwest of Tahlequah. It's not much though. The front's going to undercut it. When the front gets out ahead of these things, it tends to knock the feet out from underneath the updraft, and you just don't get the big storms continuing. You get hail still because I mean the hail's occurring a lot, but down to the surface, it really screws with the surface dynamics, and it makes it really tough to get tornadoes and even some of that damaging wind down to the surface. There's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall shot again. He's near Springdale, looking down 412. Cow's down there at the bottom. So this is out there by where the Sam's is, and looking to the west southwest of Arvest Ballpark. I don't think right now there's nothing moving into that area, but Zach is a good storm chaser. He's positioning himself out ahead of the south side of the storm. By doing that on the south side, he stays safe. Most storms and tornadoes move northeast. Not all of them. Some move southeast. Southeast ones are the real nasty ones. Joplin tornado, for example, was a southeast mover. They ingest a lot of what we call a low-level helicity or wind shear. And what's interesting about this too is we look at something called hodographs, and they look like little horseshoes when you got um, big wind shear in the atmosphere, and it's looking at wind speed through height. So, and it's like you're looking down at it. So we can get an idea from the hodograph of the storm motion and the likely storm mode. When these hodographs are straight, that's typically a straight line wind event because you don't have much turning with speed or height. You have it uniform in one direction. When you have more of a horseshoe shape, like we had last night, the area, if you guys are familiar with calculus, you can calculate the area inside that horseshoe. That's the helicity, storm relative helicity. That's what gets swept out of the storm, and that's what the storm uses to spin. So the hodograph today isn't a big horseshoe. In fact, it's more of a straight line with a little bit of a bend in it. So the tornado threat is not as high as it was last night, but the instability is just bonkers. Give you an idea of instability. And I mentioned this in one of the Facebook posts. Usually, instability for decent storms is what 1,500 joules per kilogram. We're talking uh, CAPE to the convective available potential energy CAPE up over 5,000. Of course, there's an old meteorological saying too that says don't go ape over CAPE because sometimes you can have a high CAPE and it won't do anything. That's oftentimes the summer, and especially when you have a capping inversion aloft. There's not much capping today, so the cold front's really initiating these storms fairly quickly. Guys, Silent Springs, you guys are about to get hail. Looking out over Westville, there's a little bit of rotation there, right there, and that is co-located, I believe, with where that hook is. No, it's actually not. It's a little bit ahead of it, unless this new radar scan puts it there. Zach's shot's pretty cool. You can see the lower. I think he's got the inflow. It's like the bottom right of the screen where Zach's face is. But that's the lowering there. I was telling my son this. It's kind of funny. It's like storm clouds have wall clouds. All storm clouds have wall clouds. Not all wall clouds are bad though. A wall cloud is simply a lowering in the base of the thunderstorm, where the thunderstorm's sucking up warm air. So every storm has an updraft. The updraft is the warm air rising. Every storm has a downdraft. That's the cool air sinking. The tornadoes occur where that warm air is rising. The damaging winds and hail and heavy rain occur where the downdraft is, where the cold air is sinking. If the cold air gets into the updraft, that kills the tornado. That's why that cold front that gets underneath the updrafts will knock these tornado threats out. So what's happening, and you can see this in the summertime. I saw it just a couple days ago with some benign storms, but you get these lowerings that are out there, and you can see little trails going up into the base of the updraft. And if you see a true wall cloud, because of the way it ingests that warm air, it's actually going to point towards the rain because that rain is coming into the updraft and then going up. And so that's what I saw on Zach's camera. That's why I know he was looking at the perfect spot to see this. Looks like he's headed back down west on 412 coming out of Springdale. No, actually, he's headed east. So you got the pilot there on the left. This looks like that crazy police chase video. You guys remember seeing that? Wasn't that crazy? I just don't know how that guy got down 412 so fast. I mean, I can't get from Town to 49 on a morning in less than like 20 minutes. He did it in like 20 seconds. Of course, I guess when you're running from the cops and you've got the 5 stars on the Grand Theft Auto, you tend to move a little quicker. Thankfully, no one is hurt or killed. There's that new Chick-fil-A there on the right. Chick-fil-A's always got a line. I won't tell you what I really think because I don't want to get hate mail just yet. But it's chicken sandwich. I mean, it's not like it's great. Just saying. Some people love it. I don't know. Not a big Chick-fil-A fan. Of course, I don't like really anything fried either, so that could be why too. All right, where are we at? That hail's coming up over Lake Francis. I think that's where the hail core gets. I think analysts will do a better job of this though. So let's go over this radar source here. Let's back out. Here we are with the storm. These storms out west, southwest are going to be the ones that affect Fort Smith. This is showing only a 1.5 inch hail, so that's half dollar size in Siloam Springs. It is a right turner though. It is moving right. Right in here. Oh, yeah, I said I was going to look at hail, didn't I? A little ADHD this afternoon. Hail core came down, I think. Let's look at this. It did. Lots of browns in there. There was some 2 inch hail, some purple colors out here to the west. That was out there just north of Moody's. Looks like there's, oh, that was earlier. A little bit of hail out there about coming into Berryville. There is a report 3/4 inch hail from the public, one north of Bentonville. So that's on the 71. I want to see if we can see any hail bouncing around out there around Siloam Springs. Let's take a gander and see. I know most of this is going to be passing to the south. I don't see anything bouncing. Sometimes during this time of year, you can see the grass and see little white stuff popping up and down. A lot of heavy rain, though. You can see some flooding on the road, some ponding. It's not really flooding. That's the storm over Siloam Springs. This is the storm with the hail. It's the maximum estimated hail size is what we're looking at. I'm going to look through a couple different things here. First of all, we got that storm that's moving over Lowell and Cave Springs is pretty heavy, but it's not severe actually. And it doesn't look like, now there's not any gusty winds with that either. So that's nice. Let's look at this a little bit. Here's the storm. Looks like it's right over Watts. Base velocity here. Oh, no, it's just not much, guys. Not much turning going on. It's not bad. We'll take it. We knew the tornado threat was low going into this. The large hail threat really hasn't materialized locally. It did to the north. Look at that 2.7 inch hail. That's massive. Good grief. I do think you're going to get. Let me look at this a little bit. It's moving more east, the whole line. Might have picked up a little speed with the front, too. Springdale's going to get heavy rain. You're probably going to get hail in Springdale as it comes down 412. That initial round that you're getting now out in Tawnytown is not the main event. That's more to the west around Watts. But as the front pushes southeast, it may get more into Fayetteville as far as that hail threat. That tornado threat could also get close to Fayetteville. It has not a very high threat, though, because it's not spinning that much. There's 412. Let's recalibrate the radars shortly here. Recalibrated. Meh. It's not. I don't see it. Want to go two screen? Let's do 2 panels. Let's not look at hail here, but let's look at storm relative. Actually, base velocity might be a little better. So we'd be looking right here, and then we'd match it up over here. There's nothing there. Let's go higher in the atmosphere. Let's go tilt 0.9. 1.4, 1.8, 2 point. I don't see any meso in that. I don't see a mesocyclone. So yeah, the radar presentation looks like a hook there, but I'm just not seeing anything right now that shows uh, hook. I'm sorry, any deep rotation in the storm. Definitely a hook there. Let's look at some cams around here, guys. Let me go back to this radar source that's coming down over Lake Francis. You know, I went canoeing here on the Illinois once, and me and my buddy, we're geniuses. And we thought going in January was a good time. Well, it was until it wasn't. And then I was out there around Lake Francis where the Illinois River is. I think it's just south of there. You know where that bridge is on 59? So I got out there because the kayaks fell over. Yes. And it was frozen. It was terrible. Thankfully, we parked under the bridge. And well, we stripped all our clothes off and got dry clothes. So that was the first time that happened on 59 for me. I'm sure someone got a photo. Of course, this might have been before iPhone, so it might have been okay then. But that Illinois River has been getting more and more swollen and setting more and more records. And it's not because we're getting more rainfall. It's because of all the development that's going on in Northwest Arkansas and all the concrete that's getting put in. It doesn't have anywhere to go. They do the water studies and they mitigate some of it, but it doesn't really matter. You're still going to be dealing with you're still going to have all that excess runoff that's out there. Got going on this screen here. A couple different computers up. That one's showing a little meso skit that's there. Let's see. It's not much. It's there. It's not much. It's just south of Cincinnati, um, northeast of Westville. Like a nice little lowering there, though. If that thing tightens up, they'll issue a warning on it. Trying to find out where this hail is going to go. Time now coming up on, what are we? Oh, 7 o'clock already. I better eat supper soon. A due east movement still gives Fayetteville a chance for some strong storms. It's over in Bentonville. I told you it'd be over quick. Still sunny outside. It probably is sunny in Bentonville now. This whole line is coming right down 412. This Illinois River cam's interesting. Looking for hail on this thing. Don't see any on the road. The raindrops are big. Of course, when you have a dew point of 70, you get some chunky raindrops. That camera was located in Pedro right here, so the hail core is actually moving just south, actually closer to Norwood, Lake Francis. I'll drill in a little more here, guys. This is going to be Sawmill Road, King Road, Lincoln Street, Fisher Ford Road. Here's the Illinois River, Morris Farm Road, Meadow View Road. And the track of this moves it over Norwood. There's some lightning strikes that just went up there. Heads up for y'all here in Fullerton Drive, and then farther east along Chambers Spring Road. Here's where 16 bends back to the south. There's 244, 16. I think that's going to be tracking to the east. Still a very strong storm. New warning looks like this popped up. Yep. Got a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to go for Washington, Benton County again. It's that same cell. They made the polygon a little bit bigger, though. So they're also watching that stuff that's out there north of Stillwell. Keeping an eye on that. Let's see what they tag this, and let's see what the Weather Service has got. They're issuing it based on quarter size hail, winds to 60. They've got it going for 44 minutes. They did not tag it with tornado possible. So love to see that. And that's because there hasn't been any deep rotation on it. The hail could uptick, though. Let's look at this again. Back out. Boy, there's a lot of lightning in that one, though. Goodness. And that's coming right into Fayetteville. Faytown, heads up. Bella Vista, you're in the clear. Grab it. Sulphur Springs, you're in the clear. Didn't last that long, did it? And then back south. more of a southwest wind in Fort Smith that promotes more of a straight line wind hail risk than a tornado threat. Nothing is going on I-40 and south, at least as of right now, in Arkansas. It is in Oklahoma. And you got some cells down here that are interesting, just north of Dallas, actually northeast of Sherman Denison. Hasn't really filled in just yet here, but it's starting to. So the storms that get into Fort Smith are going to be the ones that are developing now. See the front? Talked about that earlier. This is the stuff that probably gets into Fort Smith. It's right around Stigler. It's still a ways out. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and stop the radar. Look at the hill core again near on 16 south of Norwood out by Weddington, Lake Weddington. I did a triathlon there. And that's when I found out there's no blue line at the bottom of the lake like there is when you train in a pool. It's the first, last, and only one I'll ever do. Norwood, let's see. Old Norwood Church Road, Fall River Court, Illinois River Drive, Valley Oak Court. And I zoomed in all the way. I don't know what that one is, but there's somebody that lives out here that decided they want a circle driveway and built their house there. They didn't name the road though. If you're watching, you're getting a lot of heavy rain, right? That's 16. I wonder if we can get a shot looking to the west. See what that thing looks like here. This is more towards Savoy. Starting to darken up a little bit. It says mile marker 63. So that's the storm coming into Fayetteville. That's out there around the Weddington exit. You know, that's the exit that's been under construction since the Constitution was written. Actually, not that long, but doesn't it seem like it? It's like going on 2 years now. Once it's finished, though, it's going to be awesome. Kind of like when they expanded 49 to 3 lanes. Everybody rear-ended each other nonstop until it was finished. Then once it was finished, things. I was going to say things move faster, but do they really? So that's the warning. No tornado warnings here. Coming down 44. Let's see here. Look at MLK exit 62, and that may check in with Zag. This looks gnarly. Look at this thing. So this is coming north. If you were headed to a hog game, you would have got off on the exit that's behind me, and you would have gone to the right. If you're going to get some good cinnamon rolls, you would have gone to the left. Is it rare rose? Those things are good. They're sweet. A lot of scud out there. Those are the low clouds. Nice to see everything so green. Hope it stays that way heading into summer months. It's no fun when you get burn bans on July 4th. That's looking north. So we're right around right here. This is where the camera was looking north, looking up towards Fayetteville. What's kind of interesting too is that I guess we'll get a good shot. See that rotation on here when it moves over. Yeah, it's right. Ooh, okay. Little bit of reds there. Let's look at this. Interesting. We got some damaging winds. Maybe even a little bit of tighter rotation that's coming in. It's gonna punch Fayetteville, guys. That shot's gonna be a good shot to watch. We'll see the rotation pass over. We'll see if there's any hail. Um, it's not the greatest if you live around MLK though. This is you guys, the University of Arkansas. Heads up. This one's coming towards you. Let's go ahead analyst real quick. Oh, the hail size is up big time. 2.3 now. Big hail coming down. This is coming towards. It's coming to Fayetteville. That black color is bad. It's moving down 16. If you guys live on 16, you're getting some very large hail. That's golf ball size hail, at least. Right here. See the track. The warning does include Springdale. I think the worst may go just north of or south of Springdale, though. I'm going to look for rotation again real quick. Oh, we got some gusty winds though, right with that hail and the downdraftwards pushing out. This is wind damage. Let's get over to this radar and get to it. So this wind damage would be right around Weddington, um, Cincinnati Road, Johnson Road. What is this here? This is North Jackson Highway, and it's moving east. So Farmington, heads up. Out there towards the high school, this is coming right at you. Goose Creek Road, Elkhorn Springs Road, Piney Grove Road, back over the Illinois River. It's kind of funny how I have to tilt my head to read sideways, isn't it? West Evan Beeks Road, Bethel Blacktop Road. Not getting any street names on this one. Here's Little Elm Road. There's Starks and Farmington, Reyes Mills. Little Elm runs north up towards Goose Creek. Bottom line with all this is you guys are about to get hit with this. That wind is really bad. That's probably over 60. And it looks like it's coming over North Weddington Blacktop Road now and will be coming down Kenyon Lake Road. You're about to Kenyon Lake? It's a pretty nice place. It's kind of hidden. So that's coming in towards Farmington. I think that wind is going to get real close to Fayetteville too. That's a surge of wind. Probably going to affect South Fayetteville more so than North Fayetteville. Remember, the front's leaning southeast. So coming up on 62 and coming up on MLK. 62 runs to the left out that way. Very strong winds there. Not much green on the leading edge, though. That would tell us there's a tornado, and we don't see that. Elsewhere, got some storms trying to develop around Stigler. This is the stuff that'll eventually get into Fort Smith. Here's a loop of it. Southwest winds indicate more of a straight line wind and hail damage risk. It's a pretty mature cell, though, that's moving into, it just moved over Siloam Springs. That's coming into Fayetteville and Springdale, as well as Johnson. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning, too. This one for Sequoia County. Let's see what the specs are on this thing. National Weather Service has got this until 8 o'clock. That's this storm. Salisaw's in the path of this one. It's out there around Porham. They've issued this based on quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Radar indicated. So no ground truth on that just yet. See how that track is more north? That's going to be the stuff that probably gets close to Cedarville, Alma. But remember, the front, as it moves southeast, could make its way eastward. So we'll see how this stuff plays out. I'm going to switch radar sources now since these things are moving away from Tulsa. Take just a second, and I'm going to load Fort Smith's radar up. And this will give us a little bit of a different idea of what's happening here. I'm going to go back to velocity real quick. Boy, Farmington, Fayetteville, there's some strong gusty winds coming in. There it is. Left shot of the screen. We want to see if we can find some other cameras. We'll come back to this MLK one. You know that shot that when you right about when you get to Fayetteville, you come over that hill when you pass the Greenland exit with the McDonald's. See if I can get that shot loaded up. It should show us the storm. There you are. Whoa, yeah. What a great shot. There's the storm coming in from the left. So right now it's the outflow from the storm. That little teeny bit of rotation, it may actually pass over this. It'd be really cool if we could actually see some of that warm air rising up into it. We'll come back to this one here in a second. Heaviest rain and hail currently on Viney Grove Road and Goose Creek Road. Out towards Savoy, coming into Farmington. And again, that's tracking towards Fayetteville. Here's a loop. I'll show you guys how this looks. Yeah, I think Fayetteville gets all this. You're going to get some hail in Fayetteville. Um, Again, that's moving almost east southeast. MLK camera on 62's looking pretty gnarly. Got the storm coming in there on the left side. Guys darkening up. There's rain out in the distance. That's still going on out around Elm Springs. The rain's starting to let up a little bit in Rogers. You can probably still hear the thunder, though. It's out there. And then there's the line of storms that's moving in. Checking out a couple different shots here. Wonder what Zach's doing. Let's see. See if I can pull him up. Here's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall on his YouTube channel. Make sure and follow him on YouTube. Great guy, great storm chaser. Not one of those wackos that drive into tornadoes. He's trying to go south, I think, to get ahead of this thing, so he doesn't get in put in any danger there. I think that he's actually coming up on the Greenland exit, isn't it? It's going to be on the right side there, so he's heading out of the storm. We live in a great place, don't we? Look at the rain out there. Oh, it's just beautiful, even with the storms. It's really cool after a rain in the summertime. That's what I call, obviously, the Smoky Mountains, but you get that fog that develops out there. So pretty this time of year. He's headed south. My guess is he's probably going to be shooting for West Fork, maybe just north of West Fork. In fact, that may be where he is. Does that sign say Harps? He actually may not be near Greenland. He may be closer to West Fork. Yep, because there's the Devil's Den exit on the right side. Let's see here. Yep, he's at West Fork. Winslow's the highest spot on I-49. That's why in the wintertime it's always a mess. We'll watch Zach's cam for just a sec. We're going to see where he sets up. I'll tell you what, we'll go back to it. That's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall. It's southbound from West Fork. Storm is on the right side of the screen moving towards him. He's getting in a safe position to see this thing as it moves in. So Zach would be right about here. He's close to that outflow. Let's see what else we got going on, guys. Get back to that Fayetteville shot. Looking towards the University of Arkansas. Could see the clouds moving really good, picking up out of this thing. Who's in the clear? We're in the clear in Bella Vista and Bentonville and Rogers and Pea Ridge. Storms coming into Sallisaw. That mess, that gaggle of storms near Stigler is going to get into Fort Smith eventually. So far, the severe has been spotty. We've fared pretty well so far. Hopefully, it stays that way. Let's see here. Go back to the MLK cam. This one's showing the storm coming in from the left side. This is the RDOT cam. There you go. Ooh, look at that scud that's out there. Lots of low hanging clouds out of that thing. We got some hail headed towards us. I wonder if the hail size came down. We should look at that. Let's see. Just isolate the hail real quick. Yep, right there. Well, this hail moving towards Sallisaw is smaller aerial wise, not necessarily smaller in terms of size. But that hail is still pretty big out there around Farmington and White Rock. The wind is still going pretty good too. Let's see. Is this a recent scan? It actually is. Let me load this again. Had some gusts there east of 59 with some of that large hail. This is more of a damaging wind event. I actually don't see any rotation on this right now. I'm going to change this radar source though. Let's get a little closer to the ground. Let's go to SRX, which is the Fort Smith radar out there by the landfill. There it is. Now let's look at it from this radar. It's interesting. It looks more like a downburst to me. Well, maybe not. Kind of looks a little spinny, a little fishy to me. Let's see. Normalize rotation on it. Yeah, there's a little bit of weak spin there. right in here. Like, I mean, I guess you can kind of tell. You can see it on reflectivity, kind of like kidney bean shape there. This is coming into Fayetteville. Again, from MLK. It's coming into the left side of the screen here. Hail, very strong winds, at least a minimal tornado risk with it. Some hail starting to move in there on the west side of Fayetteville. Shanda, I don't know if I can pull you up there. I can use your voice. Hang on. Go to radar. Looks like hail's going to be picking up out towards Johnson, too. Let me see. That's a great shot from 67 looking southbound. Let's see what this thing's doing here. Calling Shanda.
Hey, Garrett.
Hey, Shanda, I've got you up on the stream here. You got some hail. You live out towards the west side of 49.
Yeah, excuse my kids. They're freaking out. It's loud.
It is.
Just slightly larger than probably dime-sized hail over here, and it's raining super hard. It's just coming in. But yeah, it's pretty telling to what's coming in. The winds are picking up. Big hail or dime-sized hail and giant raindrops here, lightning and thunder abundant in West Fayetteville.
Yeah, I've got the Stephen Carr exit pulled up now, so you'd be probably just to the. I think this is looking south, so you'd be over to the right. We can kind of see the storm coming in and some of those rain curtains there too.
We're getting the hail is crazy. It just big ice chunks falling. The kids are super scared.
Yeah.
Everything is good here, but it's kind of crazy to see the hail fall in such large size here in Fayetteville.
Yeah, is it the kind of hail that piles up like out of the drain and everything? Is it that much hail?
Not quite. It's just enough to cover the pool, cover before the rain fell. Not as much as I expected. Not like you could scoop it up or anything like that.
So
Now that the rain is falling.
no sonic ice hail this time anyway.
Yeah.
All right. That's Shanda Hunter in the Fayetteville area. Shanda, appreciate you as always.
Cool. Let me know if you need anything. Right.
Will do. Have a good evening.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Yeah, kids hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. I hate hail. It's the worst. And the reason it's so bad is because you've got it's just loud. It's scary, isn't it, when that stuff moves in? So that's the shot of it coming into Fayetteville now. May call my other good friend, Melissa Jones, who's probably watching the stream too. I think this is about to move over her house. Trying to get some images here that show you guys what it looks like. This is a good one here. This is coming into Fayetteville. Let's call Melissa. Hey, Melissa, I got you up on the live stream. You had a little rotation.
Sitting there,
Just saw it.
straight saying, "Hey, it's hailing."
So what kind of hail? What?
Some videos too. So I just sent you a video a minute ago. We had some low-level rotation that went over Farmington. You could kind of see in the distance, and then right after that, the hail started.
Okay, yeah, and it looked like it on radar too. Let me switch back to it. There was a little bit of rotation on that storm. You can kind of, if I zoom out, you can almost see it looks like a little cinnamon roll spinning right over Farmington. So that's exactly what you were seeing. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if you check your text messages, you should have a pretty
good shot of it.
You should have a pretty good video of it, because I actually zoomed in on it, so you can see the structure and how unstable it was, and there is a little bit of rotation going on there. So yeah.
Good deal. All right. Well, stay safe, and I'll check back in with you here in a bit.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Melissa. That's Melissa Jones, one of my good friends. Just looking at her video now. Well, I can show you guys. I don't have it set up just yet to show you, unless I literally point it at the camera screen. But you can see it. I'm watching it. I'll try to ingest this in the system for one of our cut-ins a little later. Give you guys an idea of what she's doing, or what she saw as it was coming through. That rotation in Farmington though is actually moving in the middle of the screen. That's why I've kind of stuck on this shot here. You can see it on Analyst real well, and yeah, you can see it spinning. I mean, it's not deep, it's not pronounced, it's not something I think that the Weather Service would jump on a tornado warning on, but there is some spinning going on there. Just if I can get a better shot for you guys. Pretty much over MLK now. Actually, it's literally over MLK. Coming over the University of Arkansas. This is velocity, so this is wind speed. I'm also seeing some winds punching into Prairie Grove too. 3/4 inch hail reported here. Dime size, 1 inch hail. That's quarter size hail. That's what's going to be bouncing around Fayetteville here shortly. Let's see where Arkansas Storm Chaser Zachary Hall is. Here's his shot. He looks like he's still headed southbound. He's probably still trying to get ahead of this thing. Got dark quick. It was a nice afternoon. Well, I don't know. Was it a nice afternoon? Seemed awfully warm out there. He's on 59. Or, I'm sorry. He's on 49. Looks like he's headed south, kind of out towards maybe Mountainburg, perhaps. Back to Analyst. I want to go to hail. Look at the hail on this thing, guys. This is some big hail coming in. This is coming over White Rock, moving to the east. Ooh, Shanda's got some big hail coming in. I don't know if I can show you guys what it looks like. This is going to be really janky, so I apologize in advance, but YOLO. Can you see it? Look at that stuff coming in. That's bouncing around her pool there. And isn't it nice that my phone doesn't have a cracked screen? This may be the first time in a long time. I actually just replaced the screen thing. But yeah, usually it is. Looks like she's got the hail that's in there now. Here's what it looks like as far as reflectivity goes. This is what you're probably most used to seeing out over White Rock. New scan, let's see. Oh yeah, Fayetteville really getting it. I want to go back to that other camera shot that looks north. I think that's a good idea. You can even see the hill core. Check this out. So that's looking in the center of the screen. See where it's bright and then it's dark on the left side. If you were looking at it from this angle, you would actually see little wisp or almost like a column of white where that hail is coming down. Again, that's moving over Fayetteville and Johnson. It looks as if it's tracking towards Elkins. Strongest right now is out over Fayetteville. North wind behind the front, starting to cool things down quite a bit. You can see it as it's moving in. So I'm showing the strongest actually right over southwest Fayetteville. So here's Stone. Here's MLK. Should be hailing really good at MLK right now. Really bad. Let's see. Let's see what we got. There it is. It's probably ping-ponging around. You just can't see all that much out there. This is moving over the University of Arkansas. There's Persimmon Street, North Shiloh Drive, Sang Avenue. Melissa's calling. Let's see what Melissa has to say. Hey, Melissa, what you got? It looked like it picked up.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update. We have gone from a little bit of rain to incredibly heavy rain with visibility is probably about 200 yards because it's raining so hard. We do have hail falling anywhere from key to quarter size hail is coming down right now. And we're getting some pretty good wind gusts as well. It looks like I would say at least 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts as well.
Yeah, it looks like the worst is over. You're just northeast of Farmington, north of MLK, right?
Yeah, I'm north of MLK. And you can listen, you can hear it. That's all hail.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And let's see if I'm going to get over here by the.
Yeah, you can hear it pinging around there.
You're going to do what you shouldn't do and go by the window. Launch by this concept.
Right. It's kind of like the TV people in hurricanes.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy now. A lot of it looks to be pea size, but there are some slightly larger sizes out there. It looks like it's up to dime.
Okay.
So the quarters have stopped falling, which is good. My car might not be killed, but
Yeah.
it's definitely piling up now.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's dumping a lot of hail. It looks like it's over you right now and moving into the south part of Fayetteville.
Yeah, it is dumping a lot of hail and a lot of rain.
Okay. It's good to know.
So
Well, let us know
if
if
anybody's out on MLK, they're probably not seeing very much or very far.
no, and in fact, I've been going back and forth to that RDOT cam at MLK looking north, and you really can't see much of anything. It's a washout right now.
Yeah, I even have my television on network television, and I'm not even getting a signal. It's so thick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super heavy
So,
rain. All right, well, let us know
super heavy.
if you get anything else, give me a shout.
All right.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks. That's Melissa Jones. She helps me out with weather. She's one of my web producers a while back as well, and good friend of mine. Been one of our fellow weather geeks for a while. Southeast Fayetteville, 15th College, University of Arkansas, Huntsville, Morningside Drive, South Armstrong Avenue, um, South City Lake Drive, Cato Springs Road, South School Avenue, Garland Avenue. This is right over the University of Arkansas. It's heavy. South School, there's West Center. Here's Dixon. There's the Walton Arts Center. Really coming down on North Mission, moving right towards Mount Sequoia, West Maple, North Wilson Avenue, North Street, Leverett, Garland, Maple, Gregg. If you live in Fayetteville, you know exactly where I'm at. This is out there by the VA hospital and the university, the central and east side of Fayetteville, closer to the square here. Is really getting hit hard with this stuff. Here it is here. South Washington Avenue, College, East 12th, East McClinton Street, Nantucket Drive. That's going to be tracking out towards crossover soon. So you're going to get this stuff on East Cliffs, Happy Hollow Road, down the road from this on Woodcliff, Rockcliff, Island Park Road. Um, that's going to be out towards Cliffside Drive, Cobblestone Drive, Crestline Place, East Stone Mountain Road, Limestone Drive, Skyview Lane. And this is out towards North Crossover. So this is downstream. This is what you're going to get next. Here's East Cliffs Boulevard, Sleepy Hollow Road. The heaviest right now is right there at that intersection where the milk factory used to be, off there on 16 Happy Hollow, and is East 15th, South Armstrong Avenue, West Fork White River area. Um, Severe thunderstorm warning on this storm. It expires in 15 minutes. Imagine they're probably going to renew this one though, as it moves over Fayetteville and then tracks towards Goshen. What I'm liking though is the lack of any tornadoes so far. The instability is super high. There's a new scan. Where's the heaviest now? Looks like it's going to be right on crossover. So the streets that I was just naming is where the heaviest part of this is: North Star Drive, East Mission Boulevard, Linsfield, Camelot, Revere, Victoria Lane, East Meandering Way, Summersby Drive. Summersby hot too. East Ridgeway, North Crestwood. What else we got here? North Appleberry Drive. Look at all the houses. A lot of folks with kids getting scared right now. I don't blame them. I mean, I get a little scared with some of that big hail. I'm not gonna lie. Even if it's small hail, like Shannon mentioned earlier, it could be dime size and still kind of freak you out, huh? That warning goes for 15. There's no other. Well, there's that warning in Salisaw. That storm's just now coming in. We have southwest winds. I'm liking that in Fort Smith. I think that lowers the tornado threat. Still have a hail threat with this. Here's a loop of it as it's moving in, or as it's moving out, as it could be in Bella Vista, in Bentonville and Rogers. On the flip side of this, you may actually see a sunset. Isn't that crazy? Storms like this, it gets dark and then all of a sudden it's sunny again. This is where we are now. Looking at the Salisaw storm, kind of curious about hail here. Let's get a sample of it real quick. Got some small hail there on the west side of the lake. There's Kerr Reservoir. It's not quite as big as what we saw farther to the north. There's a lot of hail within this stuff in Township and North College, coming up towards Covington Park, um, getting into where are we at here? Chatsworth Drive, Litchfield Township, um, Shuri Crossing, Leewood Way, Signet, Old North Old Dominion Way, East Gillern Road. Croft Springs Road, Oakland Zion Road, East Pasofino Road, Autumn Brook Lane, Oakland Zion, right down 44 is where some of that heavy hail is coming in, right there. Next up with this is going to be Goshen, so that's why I think the Weather Service may issue another warning. They probably extend this thing downstream out towards Hinesville and Huntsville, just based on the hail risk. The wind threat with it, let's see. There's that little weak rotation that moved over Fayetteville and MLK. It's co-located with the hail, which is not surprising. It's kind of what you would expect, right? You get a big updraft and you get the big hail because it's not going up a spiral staircase, right? I mean, the distance is longer than if you just went up a ladder. So each time it's going up, it's getting bigger hail with it. Go to analyst real quick. Check some of these wind speeds. Here's some hail reports populating. 1-inch hail, 3 northwest of Fayetteville. That's quarter size. 1-inch hail, Washington County. That's 2 south of Wheeler. Dime size hail, 2 north of Farmington. Quarter size hail, 2 west of Farmington. And we'll probably get some more reports of hail coming in too. I think the rotation actually shows up better on analyst. You can see that weak spin that's moving towards Goshen. Not a big tornado threat, pretty big hail threat here though. This is the track of the hail. See as it moved through. Heaviest is now on the east side of 49, west side of 49 in Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, Rogers, Silent Springs. It's about in the clear with this. Here it is crawling east. Kind of curious what these things are doing down here. You want to take a look? I'm going to look at the southwest side of this one and this one. Let's see here. That is spinning. Near Kenta. Let's see here. I'm going to watch this guy. That's a strong storm there. It's just south of Stigler. It's a really strong storm right here. Probably going to be some kind of warning on this one soon. It's 1 inch. There it is. New severe thunderstorm warning. This one looks like it goes until 8:15. They've got the polygon over Sequoia, LaFleur County. Let's look at this again. See how it's moving more east too, instead of northeast? It has access to more of those low-level winds. We'll watch that thing south of Stigler. There's also no storm south of it either, so that's going to be one to watch. This particular storm is, let's see. Weather Service did not tag it tornado possible. They're still thinking kind of like we were talking about. The risk of tornadoes is low. The risk of damaging winds and hail is quite a bit higher. Here's another loop of the storm. You can almost make out how that thing is spinning, huh? Curious what this looks like upstairs in the atmosphere. So I'm going to take you to base velocity. Let's look at base velocity. Let's tilt up. Okay, so watch this. See how the reds and the greens are persistent? Here, here, and here. This is 7,000 feet in the atmosphere. This is 9,000 feet. This is 11,000 feet. The surface lowest I can get you is 3,400 feet. Point is, this thing has rotation in it from 3,000 feet at least above the surface to about 9,000 feet. That's a deep mesocyclone, which not only is a hail risk, but yeah, you can see it. I see it here. It's also going to be at least a tornado risk with that Kenta storm. Not right now, but watch it. The movement's more east too, which is a little more concerning. Looks like another warning just outside our area popped up. Let's see if that thing's doing anything. It's spinning too. These ones down to the south are spinning more than the ones to the north. This one's the strongest one right now. It doesn't have as much Yeah, it's got some hail in it. A 1 inch hail. It's not quite as haily as what we've got east of Fayetteville. The Sallisaw storm doesn't have much hail at all. You may have some small hail with it. Stigler is going to get it though as it moves in. That's a pretty strong storm. It's tracking towards the northeast. New what we got here now? Let's go to the radar source. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be Washington County. Let's see if I can find this one for you guys. There it is. So yeah, they did issue it downstream from the initial storm. That's the hail. The Weather Service is concerned with hail with this. That's what we've seen. Starting to lighten up behind it though. Look at that. Isn't that something? That's that MLK cam that got so dark earlier. So new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to take it across northern Madison County. The worst is over in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Rogers. Again, don't be surprised if you actually get a little sunshine behind this thing. I know that's nuts, but that's why our weather's nuts. That's not why. Watch this. It's just central. This is crazy. Sun's out. Hey, if the kids are scared of hail, though, when you get the sun a little bit lower, maybe even right now, you're going to have some pretty cool rainbows out there. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, it's in and out quick. It's not an all night thing. This thing's over with before you know it. And we can all go to bed. Not have to wake up in the middle of the night with any storms like the other night, huh? Let's see this Stigler storm again. Base. Hmm. Animate this real quick. Yeah, if that thing gets its act together, it could be an issue. Of course, we've seen that rotation pretty much on and off all day, and it hasn't really amounted to anything. Hopefully that stays the case. There definitely is some weak rotation on that storm, though, near Stigler. I think it shows up better on Analyst. Let's take the hail off of here. There's the storm. Yeah, right there. It's also got 1 inch hail on it. What's this little guy doing down here? And that one's spinning too. So you got a couple spinners out there. It's a Stigler one. Let's see where it's moving. I kind of think the hail core is going to pass south of Fort Smith, just the way the front's oriented. The one that's about to move south of Sallisaw probably does get into Fort Smith, though. The ones down there around Wilburton will track to the east, maybe Heavener Waldron with time. Some of us aren't going to get any rain. There's a gap between Stigler and Wilburton. Um, that's a little concerning because when you have isolated storms, they do have access to more jet fuel when you got those south storms like that. I wonder where Arkansas storm tracker Zach Hall is. Fort Smith, Oklahoma City. He's on I-40 headed west. He is going to follow the same storm we're looking at. Not a shock there. What a beautiful storm out in the distance, though. You can see it's backlit by the sun a little bit. My guess is he's probably going to head out and try to intercept this thing coming into Fort Smith. Or let's just see if he takes the exit here and goes towards Cloverleaf and Van Buren or not. Well, we kind of ways to wait if we're going to do that, but that's fine. You can enjoy the cloud view at the time. Again, this is Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall. He's broadcasting this on YouTube. He's on the YouTube and the Facebook. This is his main gig. Um, he is. He's headed south. So I think he's going to chase that storm that's out there around Stigler. If he was going to get the one that, well, I guess he has an option, right? I mean, if it's kind of both of them are coming towards the greater Fort Smith area, you really have two options there. You have the storm south of Sallisaw, and you also have that storm near Stigler. Both of those are coming into the greater Fort Smith area. Then there's a gap with one south of Wilburton. Impressive to see these storms. There it is to the right. Look at the anvil on that thing. My goodness. That's that overhang. This is over Van Buren now. That's the Cloverleaf exit he's coming up on. You can go left down Alma Highway out towards 64. You can bang a right and head out towards Pointer Stadium out there. Or you can keep going straight, hit the Arkansas River Bridge. Either way, we got storms heading in. There's two cells to watch. If they grow into individual supercells, that could be a big problem. Time now is 7:43. Wow, I've been at this an hour and 50 minutes. You guys bored yet? It's tracking east. Look at this again here. I'm curious how this thing looks if we look at it from maybe the Oklahoma line or Door Road, the Welcome Center, and see what it looks like out that way. That's looking east, so that doesn't tell us anything. Got Vista Hills in the center of the screen, the rest area there on the right. Let's see here. Let's check this guy again. Near Kyoto, Stigler. This is tracking east on 59. It's moving east at 40 miles an hour. Fairly quick moving storm. This whole thing is quick. I mean, it's one and done, right? Look at all the hail reports that came in over Fayetteville, though. 1 inch hail. There's another one. One northwest of Fayetteville. Another 1 inch hail report. 3 northwest of Fayetteville. That's the stuff that's falling around Goshen and Hinesville right now. It's over with in Bentonville and Rogers. It's over with in Bella Vista. It'll be over in Fayetteville probably about 30 to 45 minutes. You got a little time for that thing starts to finish up. And you got these two little cells here that are worth watching that are tracking east towards the greater Fort Smith area. The one of concern is the southernmost one. That one. And go up a tilt. Ooh, it's really spinning upstairs. Look at that. Whoa. So this is at 6,700 feet. That's a tight couplet there. So you definitely have an embedded mesocyclone in the atmosphere that's generating large hail. We don't have it at the surface. As long as it stays aloft, it's fine. It starts lowering, then we got probs. Will it lower? Well, I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but the shear in the atmosphere isn't great. Wind speeds are more towards the southwest, more so than the southeast. The southeast wind would be a backing wind. There's the wind in South or Stigler. See how it's southwest? It's what southwest at 10 miles an hour. Temperature 84, dew point 75. Ugh, that is some kind of sticky. So it's south of Stigler. You can kind of make out where that little pocket of rotation is right there. That's west of 82, east of Highway 2, west of Vakoshi. Lots of lightning with that storm too. So this one, the track of this one's going to be interesting because it may duck just a touch south of Fort Smith. We'll see though. Let's see if I can find a camera shot that shows you what's moving in here. This is Lee Creek looking west. It doesn't tell me much, but it's a shot. Hasn't moved through there yet. That guy doesn't know what he's about to drive into. He's going to be in for a fun time. Here it is again on Analyst. Time is 7:47 now. The storm south of Fayetteville is not warned at the moment. It's a lot of heavy rain right through here. Got some hail though. It's almost severe. It's 0.97. 1 inch is severe. It's possible. May end up with a warning on that. We'll see. It's moving through pretty quick though, so hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't cause us any issues. Back to these two storms here. Looking at how these are tracking, I'm also wondering if these two are going to move together. I don't know. Let's see what they do. Looks like the one to the north is moving south, and the one to the south is moving more east. Here on the south side, it's not tight rotation. It is aloft, but it is not at the surface. Well, about 3,000 feet up is where we're looking right now. So both of these storms will be tracking east, probably affecting the greater Fort Smith area through 8 o'clock. We've got tornado watch out till 10. I don't think it lasts until 10. It's already over with in Benton County. It's almost over with in Washington County. Well, northern Washington County. Just watching the upscale growth of this. I'm looking at the northern part of the storm, trying to get a feel for what's going on. It has my interest how this is weakening right north of Vian. See how these see how you got some dark yellows here. See how they go away here. You have to wonder what's going on. We probably have some upper level winds that are moving through that are probably causing a little bit of subsidence. I'm also looking at that storm on the southwest side of Tamaha. Here's the thing though, if there was rotation southwest of Tamaha, that storm to the south is going to mess it all up. I want to look upstairs, see if there's anything there. Maybe a weak mezzo there. It's not very strong. See the reds and the greens. See the reds and the greens here? Big difference. One of the north really isn't that big of a deal. One of the south is one to watch. If they merge together, that would be a big problem. Well, maybe. We'd see. Sometimes they can kill. Sometimes they can kill each other when they merge and cancel each other out. Sometimes they strengthen. Typically, when you get a supercell merging with a line, though, that's when they strengthen. This isn't really a well-developed line. The atmosphere is just incredibly unstable and popping off these things left and right. Salsa is getting some wind and some rain. And that's tracking towards the east. It's a higher tilt. There's a lower tilt. Some gusty winds, it looks like. To the north, stuff's moving out of Fayetteville. A lot of wind coming into Huntsville, though. We'll get that stuff right in here. And then back down to the south, near Kyoto and McCurtain. Those are really the two cells to watch. The one around Clayton, boy, it's moving almost due north, isn't it? That thing's going. Still a strong cell, though, and still some hail within it, it looks like. Some larger hail here in Sallisaw. That's going to be moving eastward and likely does get into the Fort Smith area. New severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. This is for Sequoyah County. Don't think it's popped up yet. Let's look. Oh, it's this next polygon right here. It's the one to the north. Switch. So they've got this one. That's gonna go for 24 minutes. Actually, that's 9 minutes. 24. Those are short fuse warnings. 24 minutes. You got 2 warnings on that one. See. So storms are severe that are moving in. Heavy wind and rain still South Fayetteville, Greenland. Man, it's really coming down in Greenland, huh? It's actually not even severe right now, but it is coming down. Can't see much if you look towards the university from Greenland. Heavy wind and rain. I'm wondering too, let me back out here. Here's a full view if you guys just started tuning in. Got this front moving through. This front's a good front because it's going to stop the active weather here for a while. Give us a breather. Maybe let us mow the yard. Of course, you can be like me and be super lazy and just mow the front yard. Then the HOA police don't come after you. But the backyard gets big. I haven't done that yet. Probably do that tomorrow. Well, depending on how much rain we got. Looking south from State Highway 74, that leading edge of the clouds is moving in. There it is. It's I-49 cam. It's kind of fun watching those low clouds. Looking at the updraft there. See it on the left side? You can see some scud bombing out. If you ever have a chance to go to a storm chaser class the Weather Service puts out, they're really educational because they go over all these tornado lookalikes because they can really fool you. When I was on TV, I called them Sheriff Nados because we got them all the time. Like, we got a tornado. Not a tornado. Happened quite a bit. And where's Zach's at? Let's look. Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall. He's passing an exit. I can't tell. Is he on 71 South? He might be. Or he's on 540 headed towards the casino. Hopefully not going in. Wow, beautiful shot. Look to the right there. See those cumulonimbus towers going up. Great shot there. He's headed west into it. He's probably going to try to catch these little spinners that are there. It doesn't take long to get from Springdale to Fort Smith. Quick trip, 45 some minutes to an hour. Fayetteville to Fort Smith distance, it's about the same as Dallas to Fort Worth. It's not far at all. Okay, as he goes around this corner, you guys are going to see this cloud. Look at this. Isn't this awesome? That's the north side of that cumulonimbus. There's two cells there. Oh my gosh, he's got a great shot. You can see both of them. So you got the one to the right and you have one to the left. The one to the left is the one that's spinning a little more. The one to the right looks awfully ugly. It's around Stigler. I'll show you. So he would be located right around here. Right here. He's coming up on the state line. In fact, you'll see the Oklahoma thing here on the right side of the screen. Cino's there on the left. He's passing it now. There you go. Welcome to Oklahoma. You got the two cells there, one to the right, one to the left. Um, the one to the southernmost cell is the one that's got some spinning going on. Man, that's beautiful. I got the sunset backlighting these cumulonimbus towers. Out of ground lightning strike. Go back to radar in a second. We'll check for rotation. This is Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall following that storm. All right, so here we are. Let's wait till this scan comes through. Let's see what we got. You know what we should have done is pulled up the RDOT cam and see if we saw Zach. That would have been fun. My son does that when we're driving. He's like, look, it's us. I'm like, yeah. I can also look in the rearview mirror and see myself. The RDOT cams are fun, though. It's great to have them, especially when there's accidents. I check those things every morning before work. Still a pocket of rotation on that. Yeah, it's still there. Is it strong? No. What hail size? Let's check it out. Shall we? 1 inch hail? Not that big. The north one actually doesn't look that bad. I'm sure it's loud. It's not as bad. It's the same as the one west of Winslow. I'm gonna go back to Zach's camera again. I just can't get over how pretty this is. Isn't that awesome? Kind of nice as a storm chaser, I suppose. When you got two storms you can pick to choose. Of course, he knows just like I do. The one on the right is probably not going to do anything because the one on the left is going to take all that inflow from it. He's headed into Oklahoma now. He's probably going to run right into the wall cloud. How cool is that? Here's what it looks like on Analyst. So Zach would be right here. He's going to be traveling west. Looks like he's stopping to watch it though. He may drop south, probably just west of Spiro near Panama, or he may stay where he's at. We'll see what he does. Right now, he's stopped. Looking westward, and just a gorgeous shot of the storm. Again, if you want to watch Zach, this is on YouTube right now too, but Zach's got his own channel on YouTube. It's the Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall channel. There's also another one you should follow. It's called Chasing Zachary Hall. That's the one where he's chasing storms all over Texas and Oklahoma. He streams on those, but man, gorgeous shot. Like a bomb went off out there. That's what it looks like here. Here's what it looks like on the other radar source. Hail wise, ooh, that one came up last frame, didn't it? It's had some red in it. That was the warning, that second one that popped up. Not that one. Right there. That new warning did not include Roland. And so far, there haven't been a lot of hail reports on it. 1 inch hail. I see 1 inch hail around Porham. That was 3 north of Porham by a train spotter. Down around Clayton, it's 1 inch hail. Could definitely be a lot bigger than it is. Trust me on that one. Here's the wind that's moving south down 49. Look at that gust front. See the green colors? That wind is just running south. That front has really picked up some speed. Let's look down here again. Still some weak rotation near McCurtain. I think it'll be more of a prolific hail producer. And if history's any indication, it's probably going to be one of those that spits out dimes and quarters and nickels and hopefully no baseballs. Another gorgeous shot from Zach. Those are the two storms. One to the north, one to the south. The one to the south is the one to watch. The one to the north has got some chunky hail in it. Good mesocyclone on that storm west of McCurtain. Time now is coming up on 8 o'clock. I've been talking for 2 hours. That's impressive, considering I didn't talk for about years. Looks like some of the modest clouds that are out there. Probably in Bentonville. How cool. My friend Ben just sent me that. That's interesting. Let me go see if I can show you guys what we're looking at here. So that's the radar. Let me zoom out here. So on the back side of this front, you're getting a back sheared anvil, and you'll see these little clouds hanging down out of the sky. They're called mammatus clouds. The Greek word for it is mamma or mammogram. So it's talking about mammary. So they look like round, yeah, hanging out of the sky. They're mammatus clouds. Trying to find one of these camera shots that actually shows it. Let's see here. You guys probably see them though. They probably look really cool. Mammatus clouds are some of my favorite clouds. It's an indication of extreme buoyancy in the atmosphere. You get air that gets trapped underneath the anvil and it comes down and makes these little shapes at the bottom. So pretty impressive to see on the backside of the storm. You know what's really cool too is you get these mammatus not only on the backside of the storm, but you get them at sunset. Man, they make for some incredible photographs and pictures. I don't see any on the RDOT cams. This one's cool. This is from Bellevue. This is looking north. Probably should have pulled this one up a bit earlier. There's Uptown Rogers. There's that new hotel that's going up. The rooftop pool. That should be fun. That new Highlands Oncology is going to go in the center part of the screen there. This is looking towards Uptown. So Pauline Whitaker's on the left. Chewy's would be straight ahead. Top Golf's on the right. The amp is on the very far right of the screen. Let's go back to this radar source here. Interesting. Anyway, if you're seeing some of those mammatus clouds, you can post those in the feed. Kind of makes me want to step outside, but I'm not going to. Or David sent me one too. Yeah, you got mammatus bombing everywhere. Holy cow! Yeah, if you're in Bentonville, step outside and look at this stuff. It looks really cool. Storm's already passed. But those mammatus clouds are just bombing out from the top of the sky. And what's really cool is when they're backlit like this, um, it just looks awesome. I just hate these cameras don't really do it justice. Don't really show it. Yeah, I can't really see it on there. It's too bad because it looks really, really cool. Let me check the feeds here. When I'm talking nonstop like this, I usually don't have the Facebook feed up. You can't see really what you're saying. I've been on for 2 hours too. Jordan says, roll your sleeves up. Hey, they're up, but they're not up past my elbows. You know, I only put on a white shirt for you guys because at one time when I don't, people flip out. So here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do for you. I got a couple dress shirts. If it's gonna be bad, if it's not gonna be that bad, and I'm doing a cut and I'll keep them low. How about that? If we get big tornadoes, I'll go elbow. Does that work for you guys? If it gets really bad, I'll go to the tattoos, but hopefully that won't happen. Betty's watching from Paris. Daniel's asking about Newton County. You guys get that stuff moving in. Actually, doesn't look that bad right now. Angela doesn't feel as nervous now that I'm back. I'm kind of back. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to cover this. I was supposed to teach a spin class this evening, and my good friend Aaron took it over for me. So I didn't. So I was able to do this instead. So I got to pay him back. Um, we both teach spin different, and so I got a cool playlist too. It's like 45 minutes of working out in the dark with your closest friends and loud music. Does it get any better than that? I'm gonna check in on this little guy again here. Let's see. It's not spinning. More of a health threat than anything, I think. The radar looks impressive. Of course, remember it did look impressive too. Ruth's watching from Branch. Denise is watching from Boonville. Dawn is asking about Roland. Heavy rainfall, it looks like. Some of you guys aren't going to get anything, though. These are scattered storms. Yeah, Tom said looks like the storms are combining. I thought that too. I've been watching it pretty close. Let's see. What's interesting? If the updrafts hook up, then yeah, then you'd have a stronger storm. But if they don't hook up, then, well, one storm usually cancels out the other. I think the what's kind of interesting here is what's probably happening. You got the southern storm right here, right? So what's taking place is there's an updraft here, and there's a real weak rotation. It's nothing big, but it's updraft, so it's moving up, right? So the humid air from this storm is actually getting sucked into this, just like that. So that's what's going to cancel it out eventually, because that's cold air, right? So if we loop this and we play this, what you'll see in that general area where that second hook is on the north side is you'll see that air, that color fill in right there. See how it fills in? So that tells me that this storm is probably going to be absorbed into the southernmost storm. It could strengthen it a little bit. Those updrafts won't merge though. The updrafts won't, because you have one here and you have another one down here. So it'd be real tough for them to get together. But I think all this mess probably does fill in here. I'm liking the track I'm seeing for you guys in Fort Smith. Let me zoom out here. Again, if you're in Bentonville, you can see those Mamadas clouds. Donnie says more people are watching me than either of the stations. I don't know. I don't know if are the stations on right now. I guess they don't have any big programming. The sun looks like a giant orange, says Pot. I bet it does. These the sunsets are really cool after these storms. Tiffany says the guy on 5 said the southern storm will win the fight. It's probably Scott, I think. I don't have the TV on. But if it is, he's right. And Scott's a great meteorologist. Scott was down in Little Rock. We really have, you really can't talk about other stations when you're on TV because they get mad at you. But I'll tell you what, we have some talented people here, really talented meteorologists. I'm good friends with Dan Scoff. He's amazing. He's probably one of the best human beings I've ever met. I don't know Darby as well. There's some great meteorologists there, and there's some great meteorologists at 5. Scott's one of the best there is. He's a real great asset to 5. So I was really happy they were placing Matt with him. Cindy said, "Yep, it's Scott." So it is Scott. Oh, they aren't on TV, just Facebook Live. I'm on Facebook and YouTube, so I got 2 of them covered. And I'm probably going to get the Roku and the Amazon app going soon. But here's the problem: my app right now sucks because it locks up every time I send a push. And I've been working with the developer, so until I get that straightened up, I'm not going to add another app to it. But eventually, Hulu and not Hulu. Come on, it'd be kind of cool if I was on Hulu. Eventually, Amazon and Roku will be the ones. Nicole's waiting to see cows. You might have to wait a little longer, but I'll tell you what. Um, July 18th, Fort Smith Marshals. I think it's out at Crowder Field at UA Fort Smith. We're doing a weather night. Zach's going to be there, and it's going to be great. Kim said, "Just come back." Yeah. Ugh. I'm gonna go to bed tonight. I don't have to stay up till 10. Y'all know I go to bed at like 8 or 9. It's actually my bedtime right now. But the kids are in bed. I probably should tuck them in here soon, but I'll wait till these storms move out. Stacy tries to have one meteorologist per device. That gets a little crazy, huh? Joy says it's raining hard in Lincoln. Brenda says Fort Smith clear. I don't think we have a Fort Smith tornado threat at all right now. I think we're going to get heavy rain. We may even dodge some of the worst hail in Fort Smith. That hook is tracking more southeast. It would go south of Fort Smith. It'd go to Highway 9. Probably go where Zach's at. Jess says, watching from Van Buren, 5-year-old's making me play the video while she goes to sleep. Oh, that's sweet. You know, my daughter listens to Taylor Swift when she goes to sleep. And I thought it was the cutest thing ever. I go in there and I check on her because you have to when it's storming, right? So I go in there and she's such a diva. She's got on a face mask and she's got her little spotted dog that she calls Oreo, and she had Taylor Swift playing. And I was like, 'cause I went in there, I thought they were on their iPad. Those little sneaks do that. You have to take their devices out of the room or else they're going to get on them. But we let Ellis have it because she likes the Tay. And so she was listening to her on the iPad, which I thought was kind of sweet with her face mask on. Um, Picked her up today and they were having the book fair, which, by the way, I think the book fair is the biggest scam ever. Mostly because I give my son money for the book fair, and I'm like, what books did you get? Oh, I got a cool eraser, and I got 5 colors of pens, and I got a keychain. Dude, really? Ellis though is a reader. Like she loves to read. So I picked her up and I gave her $20 to go get some books. So she's reading some books right now. I can't remember which ones they were. She's a great reader. 2nd grade, reading on a 4th grade level. So really proud of that girl. Looks like new severe thunderstorm warning. This one's going to be for LaFleur County. Still flashing on the screen there. That storm's moving more north. That's not going to stay moving north, though. The front's going to catch that, sweep it southeast. You're not going to see that. That's Tallahena. Does it include Poto? It does include Poto. To be frank, I think that southern one actually has more of a shot of getting into Poto. Zach's got crappy cell reception, but his shot looks cool. Bet he's on Highway 9, maybe? I need to get Zach a GPS thing to stick in his car. He probably wouldn't like that. He didn't want me following him around. You know, Zach, his tattoo there on his arm, it's Trash Polka, which is the same style as mine. He's the only guy I've met that has the same style of tattoo as me. It's an East German style based on impermanence, and it's red and black. So, just anybody with splash marks and red and black tattoos, it's probably something called Trash Polka, which sounds kind of weird, but it's a really cool style. Back to analyst, I'm going to check for some rotation and look for some hail. Let's do wide view first. That's interesting too. Let's look at that. So here's a look at it as it's moving through. Time now is 8:11. It's interesting. Look at that. Fort Smith isn't going to get a whole heck of a lot the way the front's moving southeast. Boy, that thing down to the south is moving north quick though, isn't it? Wow. What if that's a north split? Oh, it is. Okay, so this is cool. So can't go back. I wonder if I can go back on the other one. When you get a north splitting storm, what's actually happening, and this is fascinating too. So you got the updraft, right? It's going up, and it's a column. So the updraft's the column, and then what eventually happens is the upper level winds hit the column. This also causes what we call flying eagle shape. So you got winds that spread out at the top. You can see the different colors of reflectivity. But sometimes it'll break the storm in half, and you get a storm, which if it produced a tornado, and sometimes they do, it would actually be clockwise instead of counterclockwise. You're basically breaking it in half. The storms that move north and move fast, man, they are prolific hail producers. I don't see one on this one, but shoot, this thing may run as fast as that one to the south and team up with it. It's going. So let's look at analysts first. I'm going to take a look at rotation, and then we'll go to the other radar source, and we'll look at that north split. So first analyst. Well, wouldn't you know that would happen? New severe thunderstorm warning. What is this for? It hasn't populated yet. There it is. It's flashing now. It's for Fort Smith. So it's that storm that's moving through. They've issued it based on the southernmost storm They've got this going for 47 minutes, 1 inch hail, quarter size, radar indicated, no tag on the warning that says tornado possible. So the Weather Service isn't worried about a tornado. I'll tell you what, it's due in part to that southwest wind. A southwest wind is not a backing wind. Backing winds cause tornadoes. That would be a southeast wind. It would help turn the lower levels better. So let's go, like I said before the warning came out, let's look at these rotation pockets first, if we have any. I'm going to take the dark red colors here from Fayetteville south out through St. Paul and take a look at this. I see a lot of strong gusty winds. No tornado risk with that. Probably 40-mile-an-hour winds that are coming into Mountainburg and Cedarville. Don't see anything worth noting. It's loud. There's some hail in it. No biggie though. It's also May. Moving south into the Fort Smith area. Let's look at these two things first. Let's get this set up to where we get the right colors on storm relative. That little guy down to the south is the one that's had pockets of rotation. It still does. And if you look real close, you can kind of see the thing turning. It's been stronger than it is now. And it's moving southeast. It is severe. Shell size on this, it's showing 1.82. That's closing in on half-dollar size hail over in Curtin. So that's along Highway 31 running west out of Panama. You know, that north split doesn't even look that impressive as far as hail goes. So let's go back to this radar and I'll show you what it looks like here. I can control the frames a little differently here. So there's Talahina. So watch this. Let's back this up. What do you think? 50 frames? That might be a lot. Crash the computer. We'll see. No, but it looks like it was just perfect. Actually, I'm going to go out a little more. 75. So it's loading right now. The Weather Service just extended a tornado watch until 3 a.m. for Scott and Logan County. It's based on that stuff that's out there. I missed the north split, didn't I? You guys probably saw it. Here it comes. Watch. Okay, watch down south, southeast Oklahoma. There it is. There's a split. This storm's actually spinning clockwise on the north side, and it's racing north along the front. It absorbs one storm. It absorbs another storm. It's still cooking at northeast. It's probably going to hit that southern storm. Isn't that fascinating? Watch the split. Here it is. Over Boswell, North Splitter. The thing I love most about spring is you get to see this stuff. There's a tornado warning down there too, around looks like Hugo. So this thing, I bet, is moving really quick. They did tag. See when I say tag, so they've got 4 possible on this. So the Weather Service thinks, hey, this thing could produce a tornado. It's not, but it could. Well, I meant to check the speed. What is it moving? Northeast at 45. I bet it's closer to 50, but we won't tell them that. Here, no, we don't want 75 frames now. Why don't we go 14? That's about 20 minutes worth of data. It's moving quick. Probably kills that northern storm now, which was the southern storm. See, the northern one up here finally died. It ingested that cold air. There's a lot of lightning, though. Good grief. Still hate the way that this one looks, though. That hook in May just bothers me. I mean, there's some weak rotation. Meh. As hate mail that I got back in the TV days said, you're nothing to write home to mama about. So I think this one near Bakoshi is nothing to write home to mama about. This doesn't look that intense. Heavy rain out around the tunnel. This is all coming to Fort Smith. Fort Smith, we're in good shape. I like this. Here it is again. You're going to get heavy wind, heavy rain. You're going to get lightning, thunder. I don't think you'll get that strong of winds out of this. Let me go back to analyst. Got that set up on hail. I want to look at this though. So let's take a look at that storm. There's some wind. Yeah, there's some gusty winds in this. It may be up to 50 or 60 miles an hour. I don't think it's going to be as widespread as the other night, though. Wasn't that crazy? Those winds, those power lines that were down out by the Crawford County Sheriff. Holy cow. Those are huge transmission lines that came down. That was nuts. But it does have a hook on it, and it's not spinning at the surface, but we've talked about this like 50 times. It is spinning aloft at 7,000 feet. Rotation typically does start aloft and then work its way down to the surface. This one just hasn't done it, probably because the shear vector is lined up southwest instead of southeast. All right, let's look at that north split again. That's just falling. North split is interesting. Let's look at this. Actually, let's look at base velocity on it. It's got some wind in it for sure. Watching it as it moves north. I'm also seeing that if you look real close, you can actually see the rotation in that stuff. Not big. That was big right there near Quentin. Not so much anymore, though. So those two storms may actually team up and might kill the northern storm. That thing keeps running north, though. It's going to get into Poto. Poto may get a lot of rain out of this thing. You can really see the front, too. The front's picked up some steam. See it right there? Near Wilburton, that thing's pushing in fast. Let's see here. The storm's coming into Vacola. Does not look that impressive for the city of Fort Smith. Heavy rainfall in the metro. But as of right now, I don't see a big tornado threat in the Fort Smith area at all with this. Might escape this one. Let's look from the Oklahoma state line, maybe about. Trying to find a camera that's pretty good here. Jenny Lynn cam's okay-ish. 71 south should be pretty good though. Let's see how this thing looks. It's looking south. It's to the southwest. Well, it's south. Airport would be. Wait, no. Airport would be behind me. It would be harvest time there on the left. So yeah, the storm should be coming into that frame here soon. Back to radar sources here. Yeah, let's go to this one. Well, let's look. Southeast winds in Poto. Poto's going to get a lot of rain. And that northern one's nearly gone now. It's been pretty much absorbed into the southern one. Did not strengthen the southern one. Pretty heavy around Bakoshi. You can tell what's coming into Fort Smith though. It's not that much. I mean, as far as big hail goes or tornadoes, it is a lot of heavy rain. It's a lot of lightning and thunder. You'll hear it for sure as it moves through. The tornado risk isn't particularly high with this one in Fort Smith and Muldrow. So that's good. Man, the Mamadas clouds are in Fayetteville now. Golly, those are so pretty. If you're in Northwest Arkansas, take a look at that. Go outside in Fayetteville and look up. Really, really pretty shots. I wonder if that camera that looks over Fayetteville would show it to us. Kinda, yeah. Awesome. Okay. So you can see at the very top the little bubbles that are out there. See them right here? Those are the Mamadas clouds. It's just an indication of very high buoyancy in the atmosphere. That storm moved through pretty quick, but those clouds are beautiful, especially when you see them at sunset. You get Mamadas like that on a back sheared anvil. Really, really pretty. Again, it looks a lot better in person than what you're seeing right now. There's the storm in Fort Smith tracking east. And no big threat for the Fort Smith area with this. No big threat in Muldrow, Alma, Cedarville, in the clear in Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, Bentonville, Siloam Springs, all looking good. The storm continues to track eastward. That rain's moving into Fort Smith as just rain without any big risk of hail or damaging winds as of right now. Looking around, trying to see if I can find any more mammoth clouds for you. You guys probably can post them on here. I'm sure you see them. Yep. Friend Kara just sent me one. She's out around Elkins. The shot. Beautiful. Holy cow. I can try to make. Well, no, I think I'll probably screw everything up. I'll try it though. I mean, what do you got to lose, right? I'll try to make one of these real quick and see if I can show you kind of what these things look like for you guys that are not able to see it. Perhaps you're out in the Fort Smith area where you haven't seen it yet. You'll probably see it behind this though. These things are going to be tracking in from the west to east, so you'll get these storms as they move through. Let's see what happens when I do that. Try anything once. What's it gonna do? Break it? Let's see here. That heavy rainfall coming into Fort Smith and Muldrow. A little bit of a lack of rain there in Van Buren. Nice little break. I mentioned this earlier this morning, but not everybody's going to get rain out of this. There'll be some broken parts. There's a big broken part here that hasn't filled in at all in Mina. Rotation wise, not really. See the wind? See the line of wind? Pretty good gust front. It's actually stronger out there around Cedarville than it is at Fort Smith and Mountainburg, and that's not even warned. That's moving east. Another wide view of this thing. These are literally the last storms that are out there that are severe. The ones that are in southern Washington County aren't even severe right now. Of course, it's May though. Am I saying back in the day used to always be never trust a May storm? These May storms, they can do some wacky things real quick. For another month or so, we're going to be in for some super cranky weather, and then things hopefully will start dying down soon. It'd be great if they would. Let's see here. This is either going to work or not work, so just hang with me. And hopefully I don't break it too bad. I'm going to try to show you guys what this looks like over Elkins. There it is. Hey, thanks for sending me that shot, Kara. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? So that is those are the Mamatis clouds I was talking about. Aren't they interesting? So on the back side of this system, you guys are going to see this stuff unless it gets dark quick, then you won't see it. But those are the Mamatis clouds that are out there, and those are the buoyancy clouds. And at sunset, man, they get backlit all orange. They look amazing. And that was out around Elkins, where that one was, and it worked. So that's good. Karen wants to know what are Mamatis clouds. Karen, you're supposed to be on vacation. Mamatis clouds are at the bottom of the storm. They're buoyancy where the air is bouncing up and down, and so you end up with these little bubbles that hang underneath it. It looks like it's going to be, yeah. Some of these Mamatis clouds are great. Jen just sent me some pictures. Jen, those are awesome too, and it really doesn't look like it's very um the pictures don't do it justice. This is the main thing with this stuff. But yeah, it's a buoyancy indication. They're Mamatis is what they're called. Mamatis clouds are typically underneath the very bottom of a cumulonimbus cloud. You want me to be super lazy? Let's see. What's going to do this? A wiki. So the thing is, you can see yeah, mamma is the root word of this, like mammary or udder or breast. I'm not going to mouse over that one, seeing how a cow udder just popped up. It's Latin is where it comes from. But this is what you'll see on the right side of the screen. If you walk outside right now in Northwest Arkansas, that's what you're going to see are those Mamatis clouds. They're at the very bottom of a base, often an indication of high buoyancy in the atmosphere. So that's what those are. And that is not a live camera. That's the live wiki. But kind of gives you an overview and a shot of what's going on out there. That's the back side of the storm. So you're seeing those mamma clouds right through here, probably back about 5-10 miles behind it. And you'll see them too in Fort Smith this evening. If no, you won't. The sun's going down. It's too bad. You might see some. You have a little bit of a glow. That rainfall coming into Fort Smith now from the west. Let's check this sucker for any rotation again. I'm really liking what I'm seeing though, as far as strong storms go. These things aren't blockbuster storms at all. Some heavy wind and rain. It's okay, no big deal. Fort Smith, you guys have that storm that's moving in now. You'll have the rainfall with it, but you won't have a whole lot of damaging wind, it looks like, which is good. It looks like Zach is on it though. Let's just see what Zach's doing. This is Arkansas Storm Tracker, Zachary Hall. Oh, he's got the base. How cool. Okay, so remember how I was talking about how you get the air that's rising into the storm? So if you look at the very bottom there where that low cloud is, if there was a tornado, that's where it would be. The long cloud out to the right, a lot of times these are referred to as beaver tails because it's inflow to the storm and it's also moist inflow. So you're getting condensation and they stick out of the storm like that. The lowering there in the middle and the bottom part of that screen is where the tornado would be. And you can probably even see how that cloud on the right at the bottom is going to team up with that cloud on the left and get sucked into the storm. It's happening right now. That's the updraft. That's where tornadoes form. That's the base. That's the wall cloud. That's a lightning show. Good grief. That we're seeing right there. Impressive. Notice it's east-west, or what's the word I'm looking for? Horizontal, not vertical, which is good. But that's definitely the position to be in to watch this sucker here. And if that thing does tornado, Zach's actually going to be on it. You can follow him on his YouTube channel. It's Arkansas Storm Tracker, Zachary Hall. Great shot. Man, Zach's in a great spot. Perfect spot there. That's coming in from the west. Nice lowering, nice base. Yeah. Out there looking at it. We'll see what that thing does. Man, that lightning is intense though. Eugh. And that's what it is. That's what it looks like. Let's loop this again. They definitely got the lowering, man. They found that. Let's see. It's just not spinning that much. It's the lowering in the base, but it's not rotating. And if it is, it's very subtle, and it's about to be killed by the south storm again. Portsmouth guys, we got some rain coming in. You guys are in good shape. Good shape in Northwest Arkansas. We're actually in pretty good shape just about everywhere. Want to see Zach again? That lowering's awesome. He's in a great spot. If this storm were to tornado, this is he'd be right on it and have a visual of it real close. He's in a great position there. It's tracking in from the west. It's moving in towards Fort Smith right now. Let's see what we've got here on some of these cameras in Fort Smith. We get a look at how this stuff is moving in. This is looking west from Van Buren. It's exit 13. That's Alma. Been off that exit several times. The Alma school buses are there to the left. If you keep going straight, you get into Van Buren. You keep going straight and you go right. You're up on 49, headed towards Fayetteville. A little bit of lightning showing up on the camera shot there. Probably get a lot of that thunder in Fort Smith. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of rotation or hail in the Fort Smith area, at least. Bears watching that one to the south, but I'm not convinced it's going to do much at this point. Just doesn't really have that look to it. From the Arkansas way station, looking west, rain's moving in. Boy, if you're driving a semi tonight, apparently the green light's on and they're making everyone stop. That's looking west, so it's eastbound traffic. If you're headed west, it looks like there's just one lone semi over there. Yeah, way station's pretty active this evening, huh? Kind of a messy shot, too. Again, wide view showing the front moving through. Time now is 8:33. That south storm is going to team up with that one as it moves in. Probably gets into Boonville, Paris, Ozark a little bit later. But overall, nice trend with these storms considering how incredibly unstable the atmosphere was today. I mean, it was really unstable, but it wasn't sheared. But sometimes the instability can overcome weak shear. It didn't today. So far, so good. Looking out to the east from the Arkansas River. And it's calling. Hey Zach, I actually had your shot up just a second ago. It looked really cool. Looks like you're right there at the base of the updraft.
Yeah, this thing, we were coming south and it produced a funnel, I mean, almost all the way to the ground. If it
Oh
wasn't
wow.
as it was on the ground, cycled a few times. We're just north of the Walmart in Poto.
Okay. Okay.
And a few moments ago, it had a lowering. It was rotating very low to the ground. Obviously, couldn't tell because it's getting dark if it's on the ground, but the thing has tried a couple times. So watching it real close, it's an angry storm for sure.
Yeah, what I noticed too, I was playing around on radar. I tilt the radar up. There's not a lot of rotation at like 3,000 feet on the tilt at the ground. If I tilt it up to 1.5, though, man, you can see a pretty deep mezzo in that thing.
Yeah, this thing it's churning for sure. We figured when it swallowed that storm to the north, it was going to do something, and here we are. But looks like it's taking on a merger from the south, and
Yep.
I'm afraid this could be either really good for the storm or really bad for it. So I don't really know. I guess we'll have to watch it over the next 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, and what's interesting, that storm from the south, I was looking at that on radar too. That's actually a northern split from a storm that was down in southeast Oklahoma around Texas. And that thing is flying north. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what this does if these two merge, if they both cancel each other out, or if it gets stronger.
Garrett, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got another bowl lowering on the base of this storm. I mean, it's big time. I mean,
Yeah, I can see with the lightning flashes, it looks like in your camera shot, like it might be on the right, maybe.
so if you look in the middle of the screen on the left side, I don't know how squally the
Oh, okay.
big time. I mean, right in front of me, bowl lowering, clear as day. Whenever the lightning goes up, I know you have to wait on the lightning,
Yeah.
but we need to watch this one close, buddy. This is wow. There's
Yeah.
no tornado warning on it either.
No, on that, it looks like it's above that building there on the left, right? You've got
Yeah,
the stop sign and then that building.
starting to get a little bit more concentrated in the middle, right by the light pole.
Yep. Yep. I can see it through the lightning flashes there. It's trying.
That is wow. Holy cow. See that?
All right.
This thing is definitely trying.
I'll let you go. I know you got to probably get repositioned and be out there, but thank you. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. Call me.
All right, we'll do. Bye. That's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall watching that lowering there. He's near the Walmart in Poto, looking towards the west northwest. I've got the super up on the bottom of the screen. That's the graphic with the text on it. But those two light poles on the left side there, if you look in the middle of those light poles, ooh, it's a big cloud strike, wasn't it? That's where that lowering is, and it's trying. There it is. You see it just briefly. Storm spotting at night is not great, especially in the Ozarks, because as soon as you come over a hill, oh, there's a wall cloud, there's a tornado. There it is again. See it? It's behind the light. There's two lights. There's one on the left and one on the right. Behind the light on the right is where that lowering is. And where the base, that bowl of that wall cloud is located. So difficult to see it now. There it is. You guys see it? I'll let Zach get repositioned here. It's Arkansas Storm Tracker Zachary Hall out there tracking that stuff. This is what it looks like on radar. The doctor says I need to drink more water. I'm drinking more water. Let's see. That is right there. Let's see, Poto. Looking, yeah, it's actually kind of close to Panama. Well, there's a little bit there. Let's look again. Yeah, it's a real broad rotation. See it right in here? It's not real tight. Ooh, you know what though? Look at this. Look at that. That's tightening up. Right there. He's in a great spot if this thing actually does anything. You got that southern storm though. Let's go to analyst and let's do two frames on this. This is going to be better to get a look at really how this is going. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get that back up for you guys. For a second here. There we go. Okay. So here's the storm. If you heard me earlier, I was talking about the flying eagle. See it right here? You got a little gap in the middle, and you got it on both sides. That's an indication the updraft is right here. So the upper level winds are actually hitting the updraft and veering out in both directions. That's a strong storm. That's an indication you got a really strong storm. Let's focus on this one for just a second here. Time's 8:38. Let's see. Yep, right there. Is it still spinning up there? Yes, it is. Panama Shady Point. So we're looking at this from downtown Poto. This is located about 6 miles northwest. Zach's watching this, and I'm watching his camera off camera. I'll go back to it if y'all want to see it. Of course, if you want to watch it nonstop, you can turn me off and go to his Facebook page or his, I think he's on Facebook. I know he's on the YouTube, on YouTube, and you can watch him. Or you can get your phone out and your MacBook out and your Android out and all the other devices and just throw them all on and see what you got. Let's go back to Zach. And that's his shot north of Poto from the Walmart. He's looking right at that lowering. It's like he's getting repositioned. It's coming up on Shady Point. I said I was going to do 2 panels, and then I got a little ADHD again. So if I go 2 panel on this thing, right here, see it near Panama? Right there. It's pretty much right over Panama is where that rotation is. Does it rise to the level of a warning, though, with the Weather Service? I bet they're watching it close. To me, it's tightening up. See those greens and reds getting tighter? What you need to see for a tornado, though, is you need to see these red colors come up. And they're you got more outflow on the southwest side than you do on the north side of the inflow. That is a storm, though. And it looks like it's strengthening as it's ingesting the southern one. Let's go back to 1 panel here. This is the storm of the day, really. I mean, look, this is all garbage to the north. This isn't even warned. It's loud. I know. I probably shouldn't say it's garbage. It's loud. Kids probably get scared. So with the dogs. Zach's on the move. Let's see what he's doing. Radar showing 1 inch hail on this. He's north of Poto. He is probably getting into the rain. He's going to have to get back up on probably, what, 120? Head out towards Cameron. I think 59 is going to take him right into it. You don't want to do that. He's going to have to get out towards Cameron, I think. You could see the lowering in Cameron. You could probably see it in Panama. I'd probably be away from the windows. Look at that lightning. Okay, now we got the red colors coming up. This thing's trying to tornado, y'all. Here it is again. Watch. It's trying. I don't think it's fully absorbed that southern storm, though. It's still getting it sucked in. Oh, it really pulled it in, didn't it? Look at that. So this is an example of a storm merger that's actually going to strengthen. Yeah, it's a little more concerning now with this storm. But see, there's some parts of the area where the cold front's going to move through. It's not even going to rain here in probably southeast LaFleur County. Those are always the fun emails, too. Y'all said it was going to rain. Nothing happened. Well, yeah, but everybody else got rain but you. Let's see. I'm really going to focus in on this thing here. I may even try to box this thing up again and see if we can get a 3D view of it. Don't think it's going to show us much. No. I can show you what I'm looking at if y'all want to see it. Maybe. If I don't break it. No, I better not. Let's see here. So I'll go back to this storm here. That's a supercell, though, for sure. Ooh, yikes. Let's see. Let's talk about what happens if this thing does start to tornado. It's going to be east-southeast of here, so that's south of Pacola. Cole, that's pretty close to you if you're watching this, little sister. Um, Cameron, Hackett, Greenwood, probably goes south of Greenwood, probably goes to Midland and Mansfield. Again, this is assuming that this thing actually wraps up like it's trying. I'm going through different tilts right now. Boy, that's really spinning about 6,000 feet above the surface. But it's trying here at the surface, too. Here's another look. If we isolate the rotation on this, we'll find it right here. It's pretty much right over Panama right now. I don't know, guys. This is starting to get a little tighter, a little more dicey here. See the dark reds, the dark greens. They're separated by 2 miles. So if that thing tightens up more, then we got a tornado risk on our hands. It looks like it's strengthening because it's absorbing that southernmost storm. It's crazy, huh? It's 3 storm mergers all in one. Heavy rain coming into Fort Smith. Tornado threat would go northeast of Poto if it does do anything like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to 2 panel again. Actually, you want to do 4 panel? It might trip everyone out, but we'll try it. On the top left, I'm gonna put base reflectivity. On the top right, I'm going to put base velocity. On the bottom left, I'm going to put hail. And then on the bottom right, I'm going to put normalized rotation. So this is going to tell me where the pockets of rotation are strongest. And I'll try to remember my face is up here at the top of the screen so I don't block it all. So the rotation pocket is right here near Shady Point. If this thing did tornado, it would be northeast of Shady Point right here. So this is something to watch, and it has increased in intensity. I'm seeing the on the shot on the right here, um, the rear flank downdraft coming in. Those are winds rushing out of the storm that tend to wrap up into the storm. I've got a lot of hail here as well, right underneath that on the backside, southwest of Panama, coming over Panama. The rotation's not particularly tight at the moment. Another thing I'm going to do on the bottom right is look for a tornado debris signature. I don't see one, so that's good. Now I'm going to loop all this and freak everyone out because there's going to be a lot of movement. All right. So I'm going to go back to velocity. I want to do 1 panel here. Actually, this is reflectivity first, but I want to go to velocity and loop this thing for you. Actually, storm relative may be better than base velocity. Yeah, base velocity. Do you guys see how it's spinning? Do you kind of see how it's just kind of rotating around in a circle? It's right there. Should get a new update soon. We'll go back to the other tracking software here in a second. This is moving. They canceled the southern warning that was out because the storm merged. This one's moving east at 35. That's the one with damaging wind on it. So if we track this one east at 35, let's just see what we got here. Let's go over to the other source. There we go. Here it is. Very broad mesocyclone. Let's just assume this thing moves east at 35 for a while. See what happens, huh? So we'll move it east at 35. And we have got Cameron in about 7 minutes, Hackett in about 20 minutes, Seltzer in about 28 minutes, Greenwood about 36 minutes away if it holds together. Ione in about an hour. Here's a loop of it again with the lightning that's plotted on there. See it right there. Oops, sorry. My bad. The southern storm merged with it. right in here. Very interesting storm merger. And the lightning is just wild. I mean, it's just nonstop here. The presentation on the radar has kind of gone a little wonky. Doesn't really have that hook shape like it did earlier. A lot of times, too, these storms can ingest other outflow boundaries, and that'll also increase that low level spin. I'm wondering if that's what that stuff is out around Cameron. Heavy rain in Panama and Spiral right now. I'm most interested in velocity because this is going to tell me if there's any tornado risk right now. I'll go to some of your questions real quick. Hailing in Panama, wind is bananas. I believe it. I bet that hail's pretty big. Darla saying the power's flickering out there. Constant lightning, Fort Smith, Fiona Hills. Big lightning in Pensacola. I believe it. I'm going to loop this. Is Muldrow in the clear? Not yet, but pretty close. There's nothing behind this one, it looks like. I mean, this is the front, so once this moves through, it's it. Boy, this thing tried to produce a tornado, didn't it? Wind speeds came down just now. Let's see. Hail in Pensacola, hailing in Vienna. Lots of lightning in Hackett. Ozark still well to the west. Power's off in Poto. It's awful. So if we zoom out here, a lot of y'all are writing your town names, wanting to know. Here's what's happening. You can find where you live on here, and I'll loop it. Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, all in the clear from the tunnel north, in the clear from really Alma north. Although there may be some lightning that's on the backside of the anvil. That stuff that's up there, actually, there's a little bit of a gap there. You may get a little bit of a gap near Ozark and not get anything. But if the line moves southeast, you'll get it in Ozark, probably in Clarksville too, probably in Paris. It's this line, so you can see how it's moving southeast, southeast. The individual storms are moving north. That's the line that's going to cause it as it moves in. This is the storm that we've been watching, although it kind of looks like a bigger blob. Let me go back to velocity. Let's see here. I'm going to loop this. What I'm doing is I'm looking for these things tightening up. If you can get those red and greens real close touching and are really bright, really tight, then you got a tornado on your hands. That's not what I'm seeing right now. I do see a lot of very broad rotation in the storm, and the thing is a crazy lightning producer. So the red color is moving away from the radar, and the green color is moving towards. So you have convergence. Remember, if the red's moving away in this direction and the green's moving towards, where the updraft is right here. So you'd get something cooking right there. If anything were to develop, that's where it would develop. Tracking east now. Yeah, it looks like it's weakened. I can see the dark reds. Watch right there, and then weakened. It could cycle though. I mean, it's not saying it's done. Let me go to base velocity. That's reflectivity. Hang on. There we go. It's more impressive on base. So the difference between storm relative and base velocity is just showing you the wind speeds. Storm relative actually subtracts out the forward motion of the storm. So if the storm's moving at 50 miles an hour and the rotation's at 20 or something like that, then we take out the 50 miles an hour. So we just see the 20 mile an hour rotation. So we take out the forward speed. That's what storm relative does. And so that's how you can the storm relative product will give us a better idea of what's going on in the storm. Base velocity also shows us what's going on just on a different level of all the wind that's out there. Joyce is saying rain just started on Slaytonville Road. You know, that's where I learned to drive and gave my mom probably 50 heart attacks. Erica says Zach's on the move. Y'all want to see what he's seeing? Let's take a look. I don't know where he's at. Here's a Arkansas Storm Tracker Zach Hall. The lightning is nuts. There's bananas out there, isn't it? That is the only storm out there worth watching, and for better or worse, I think that the that southern storm may be weakening it now. Let's see. I mean, you got some broad spinning there, but you don't really have anything that indicates a tornado at all. Lightning's nuts, though. You know, the thing is, with the amount of instability that's in the atmosphere, it's not uncommon at all to see lightning like this. Instability was just, I mean, it was off the charts earlier today. Um, but you've lost daytime heating, got the front in the area. My thought is this storm probably gets cut off by the front. The front is just moved through Alma. I'm going to zoom out. You can probably make it out. Yeah, you can. Okay, see this line? See if you can find it. See it right there? So the front's moving into this. I'm looking on the south side. I can't really see it as well. Down to the south. It's probably right there, though. So it's on the front, and it's cracking northeast. So this would be damaging wind, a lot of hail. It's a weird signature. It really is. Weird in that it's very broad and doesn't look like it would produce a tornado. Um, but it's interesting. There's a lot of convergence that's going on in that area. A lot of rising motion, which gives way to a lot of hail in Spiro and in Pensacola. See how big the hail would be in this storm. I mean, it's pretty good size. It was a lot more just to the west, though. You can see that hail tracking in. Look how it's gotten a little skinnier, huh? That southern storm. Yeah. See the hill, the values come down. This is actually a product called vertically integrated liquid. In the summertime, this doesn't work for hail because the summertime has way too much moisture and humidity in it. So it gives false, it'll be like, oh, baseball size hail. And really, it's just a big raindrop. But in the spring months like this, you can use it as a proxy for hail. I like using maximum estimated hail size better on Analyst. I think it does a better job. That's this one. And it is showing some hail at about less than an inch. I think there's a lot of hail that's probably dime size and sonic ice size. I don't know there's a lot of hail though that's golf ball, baseball with this stuff. It looks to be on the smaller size of hail. It's actually out around Panama. It's probably been hailing in Panama for a while. I mean, it moved in there. You had that one, and then you got another one right behind it. So you guys in Panama are getting pounded by this thing. Back to storm relative. There's the merger. There was a big gust just north of Panama. Maybe gusting out. Time now is 8:56. Holy cow, I've been talking for 3 hours. I'll watch this a little bit longer. Then I'll head to bed. I'm curious to see what this thing's going to do. Look, it's almost like that southern storm gave it a push north, huh? Because that one was moving east southeast, and the northern one kind of took it northward. Matter of fact, that kind of makes sense. That's probably why we're seeing these green colors on radar. Right there. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Southern storm's pushing it north. So you have a lot of convergence going on. You're probably going to get some intensification there. That's not a tornado threat, though. What's this thing here? It's probably part of that storm. Ooh, that's interesting right in there, huh? Just south of Cameron. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to go to 9:45. It's Sebastian and Sequoia County. There's the polygon, just popped up. It's this one here. They've issued it on that storm. Weather Service did not tag this tornado. They are saying 60 miles an hour And hail size is what with this? Quarter size hail, 1 inch hail. It's kind of what we're seeing too. So no tornado warning on this storm. The southern merger seems to be pushing it more to the northeast. If there's any part that's spinning, it's actually the northern part of it. Right here. Let's see here. Let's see what this looks like when I do this. It didn't change it that much. I changed it a little bit. Right here. This is interesting. So this is north of Cameron, southwest of Pensacola. I wonder if that camera that's out there would show it. Let's see here. It looks north of Cameron. No, it doesn't really show it that much. Just all kinds of lighting. That's that Pensacola cam that's out there by the casino. Heavy, heavy wind, rain. It's funny they boxed this whole, that polygon is huge. Like, legit. Look how big that square is. I mean, it includes South Fort Smith again, thinking that this thing may run to the north. This area is interesting. Keep an eye on that thing. Let me back up a couple frames. Yeah, right there, southwest of Pensacola. Such interesting phenomena going on with these storm mergers. Let's go to a different radar source. Here it is. Back out and we'll loop this thing. There was the hook and that rotation on it. There's the storm merger, and there's the whole thing getting swept northeast. All kinds of lighting. I think I got 20 minutes worth of lightning data loaded on there. So each of those strikes is a lightning strike in the last 20 minutes. That's a lot. It's a lot of lightning, huh? Storm relative. Same thing. Not overly impressive. A couple of pockets of weak rotation that are on there, it looks like. Here's a loop. Yeah, the north side would be the side that produces a tornado if it did. It doesn't look very good to me though. I still think this is more of a hail situation and wind situation as opposed to tornado. That structure looks like trash. I think it's because that south merger just took it over. It intensified it though, not in the form of necessarily a tornado, but just reef. The lightning is just insano out there. And this is coming up on the south side of Fort Smith. So very heavy wind and rain in South Fort Smith, essentially from 71 and 540. This is looking south from exit 11. Boy, cats and dogs, huh? It's raining a lot. Some ponding on the road. That's looking south southwest. Towards that heavy, heavy rainfall that's out there. Here's another loop of it. There it is, tracking to the east. Wide view. Front has made it all through the Ozarks. Well, through our part of the Ozarks anyway, with west winds. You guys down here are probably not going to see any rain. Mena, Hatfield, south of Heavener. It's questionable whether or not Waldron gets rain. Um, the way this is tracking, I do think you probably get it in Boonville and Magazine. Another wide view of this. I mean, it's raining sideways in South Fort Smith right now. Look at 71 south. I bet it gives us a great shot. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is just a prolific lightning producer. Good grief. It's just nonstop. But the dogs and the kids hate this thing. It's really raining heavy. We've got heavy lightning and thunder. Tell you what, check us out. I mean, there's still some rotation there. Let me back it up a couple frames. Ooh, that was actually pretty tight right there. So it's moving east northeast. Currently right there. You rain wrapped. You wouldn't see it anyway. I'm gonna go back to this and let's see what we got. There's a scan coming through. Let's wait till the scan passes. All right. Here it is. Huh. I'm looking for the dark colors of the greens and the reds here. Doesn't appear to be a tornado threat. But like Zach and I were talking about, man, this thing has been trying. Oh, 71 south again. Okay, the last frame made me feel a little better. It looks like it's weakened quite a bit. I'll show you what I mean here. There's probably some wind damage here, though. Right there, west of Rock Island. So that's to the west of 120. And then look at that. It just weakened, didn't it? Strong, weak. Weak in terms of rotation, not necessarily in terms of lightning and heavy rainfall. Lightning, heavy rain is nuts. Hail sizes are not that big. I want to show you guys maximum estimated hail size. It's a track of it. The hail has actually come way, way down. Another indication that the storm is weakening. I love to see that. I'm going to see if I see it on the Ville too. Let's see. So another reason I use vertically integrated liquid is to see what the intensity of the storm is doing. If it's getting darker, it's getting stronger. If it's getting lighter, it's getting weaker. This is a clear indication too that the overall storm is getting weaker. I know that's hard to believe though, with the amount of lightning that's going on in Fort Smith right now. It's crazy. It's like a strobe light out there. It's just nonstop. It is really going. We got a lot of heavy wind, rain, lightning. I was checking your Facebook comments there, guys. I'll go back to those. Let me get back analysts back up. Huh, that's interesting. See the southwest side of this start to elongate? I bet that's zipping up along the front. So this would be ahead of the front then. Go back to velocity. Place marker, let's see. I'm also going to go back to your Facebook comments. Really intense rain or winds in Hackett, says Chessa. Did I say your name right? Um, yeah, this is the area that would do something and it's not doing anything. Here it is again. That merger was just wild. And then just shoved that whole thing to the northeast. The green colors really came down. That's a good indication too that the tornado threat's winding down with that. Love to see that. It gusted for a little bit there west of Rock Island though. I bet someone's got some damage. Probably a trampoline that went airborne. That's the storm there. Highway 71 south, heavy rain from Joe. Light rain picking up in Witcherville. Raining strong off Phoenix and Fort Smith. I can probably find y'all's camera there off Phoenix. Let's see. I see Zero Street. I'm gonna move a little farther north. Here's Old Greenwood. I know there's a Phoenix cam, isn't there? Yeah, surely there is. Looking north from Phoenix. Again, just a crazy lightning producer with this thing. Lightning is just going crazy with this. Not so much hail and no tornado threat. It's really just heavy rain and lightning at the moment. But it's also May. Things get crazy in May. The time now is 9:07. Here's a wide view. The way that southern cell pushed everything north, I mean, it's going to take that front now to finally shove this thing through Fort Smith. You guys are actually going to get quite a bit more rain on out around Pacola and 271. 271 is going to get a lot of rain. Here it is. I mean, look at this. This thing, the way it moved north, look at that from Pacola. I mean, it is raining cats and dogs. Fish and frog. You know, it can rain fish and frogs. I used to tell the kids that on school visits. If a tornado goes over water, it can pick them up, put them aloft, and then rain them down in the downdraft later. It's actually happened, which is kind of nuts, huh? Heavy, heavy rain in Fort Smith until the front finally catches up and squeezes this thing out. Um, The front is probably on that leading edge on the back, so it'll move through here soon. But afraid we're going to be in for some very heavy rain on that south side of Fort Smith. This is out around Pacola at the casino. I mean, it's raining nonstop here. It's pretty windy too. Heavy wind, rain. Again, that's tracking towards the east. There's another look at it. It's the only storm that's out there that's really strong. This one, I don't know. There's one around north of Ozark. Let's see. No rotation in it. Any hail? Oh, yeah. You know what? There's more hail north of Ozark that's quarter size than there is on the severe warning storm that's north of Poto. So probably, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another warning on that one. Let's see if how that's trended. Yeah, it's trending up. It's moving northeast. It's going up towards northern Franklin County, south of St. Paul. This thing just crapped out in terms of hail. I mean, it just fell apart. There's hardly any hail on this. And as I say, the trend's your friend. So we'll see this thing start to wind down, hopefully, as the front catches up with it. Right now, we're sampling those winds, and that area of rotation is essentially south of Fort Smith. It's getting close to the old radar there. But that 71 cam would show us it real quick. Let's take a look and see. Oh, wait, 71 south. Let's see if we can find any lowerings out there. So we'd be looking towards the right side of the screen. Lightning's still going pretty good. I don't see anything behind it that would backlight it, though. So nothing there. This doesn't look like it. Doesn't feel like it either. I like what I'm seeing with this. Some gusty winds that are out there near Cass, too. Here's another look at it. Boy, just gusting out. Look at the winds. The whole wind field just pushed out of the storm. This is where it encounters the front. See the wind moving north and then kind of back down to the south. There was that storm merger that shoved that storm back into Fort Smith that's causing the heavy rainfall. Good thing is, well, if it's a good thing, it's sampling the rain right over the airport. So we'll get a good measurement of the of how much rain we get and wind speeds at the airport. But the lightning is going to just be ongoing with this. Go back to different radar source real quick. Gusty winds out around Huntington. How long do they have this thing going for? 35 more minutes. 60-mile-an-hour winds. 1-inch hail. No mention of any tornado risk from the Weather Service. Again, that's tracking. That lightning is something else. It's like the second time this week we've had crazy lightning in Fort Smith. Red colors have come down too. Of course, some of that is because it's over the cone of silence there at the Doppler. So you're getting some attenuation. Okay, so that's tracking to the northeast. I'll pull up a couple more cams here. How about the Jenny Lynn camera? Let's see what that thing looks like. There you go. Not much. Not as much lightning on that one. So this is going to continue tracking over Fort Smith. We've also got some storms to the north. Northwest Arkansas is all in the clear. Fort Smith area is going to keep going here. We may have some flash flooding too. I think we'll get street flooding. I mean, when do you not get flooding on Towson and Wheeler? You could spill a cup out the window and it would flood. It could probably cause a pothole too. But that's where this is going. 271. I'd be careful there in some of those low-lying spots. There's going to be a lot of rain that's moving through. That's the only severe thunderstorm warning that's out there. And it looks like it's just gusting out here. Let's see. Right through Huntington. Probably some heavy wind out through here. There's the gust front. Moving through Huntington. Mansfield, Midland, heavy wind and rain. Really the big story with this is the lightning, more so than anything else. The lightning is just intense. Looking at that near Huntington. Heavy wind, rain. Don't see any tornado threat with this. So another big loop of this front that's moving through. Nice little cold front. It's going to cool things down and also give us some calmer weather. It looks like it's finally catching up with that Fort Smith one. You can see it start leaning south now. So it's going to start pushing it on out towards the south and to the southeast. All right, time now is 9:20. I've been chatting for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's crazy. I can still do that, huh? Anyhow, as we head into the overnight, I'll keep an eye on some of this stuff. But I think what's going to happen is this front's going to move through. We're going to see this get a lot better into the overnight, and you'll wake up tomorrow morning and be like, the storm didn't even happen, right? The grass will be wet. If you're trying to mow, it's tough to mow. It's real squishy out there. I did yesterday. At least I did the front yard anyway. That's the only one people see. But this is some beneficial rain for us. Just be aware we may get some flash flooding in Fort Smith. I'll keep an eye on it. I think this is going to get more elongated, though, as it moves southeast and gets into central Arkansas throughout the rest of the overnight hours tonight. So I'm going to wrap it up for right now. I'll keep an eye on the storm. In Fort Smith, you guys are going to have a lot of lightning. I wanted to watch it until that rotation got into Fort Smith to see if it did anything, and it didn't. So we're good there. I don't see any pockets of rotation. Still have that warning for 30 more minutes for the greater Fort Smith area. I don't see any hail, and the wind gusts appear to be about 40, 50 miles an hour at the strongest as it moves through. And then that front should finally squeeze on everything to the east and to the southeast. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. It's been a while. It's about 3.5 hours of chatting storms, but it's always fun to look at the weather and find out what's going on locally. So I'll keep an eye on it, guys, and I'll let you know if anything else happens, or I'll post some things up on the old Facebook page. See you next time.